everyone, welcome to episode 5 of my podcast, Anastasia Scouting Report. I don't have a title for this one, and so if you're brand new, if you're watching this on YouTube visually, I will have timestamps so you can get to sections that are pertinent to you. Also, I do like to throw in some visual stuff like stats and photos and stuff. But let's get started this week, okay? So first off, obviously got to talk about UConn and Tennessee, okay? Really was, looking forward to this one and everything, obviously. And so starting off with the stats for AZ Fud, okay, one of my goats. I got my AZ Fud shirt on today for the visual viewers, okay? So she played 39 minutes, had 27 points, 11 for 17 shooting, 5 of 8 from the 3, no free throws. She had 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 turnover, 4 steal, and 1 block. AZ Fud did it all in this game, okay? Just the amount of ways that she's able to score is so pleasing to me. Then she hit a reverse in this game too. The 3 ball, she had 5 threes in this game, getting to the rim and finishing. I believe she had the first shot in the game, and I believe she had the first 7 points in the game, okay? They said Fud 7, Tennessee nothing, okay? So AZ, just her ability to score in a variety of ways and to create off the dribble, I think it's special. So I think offensively, she really brought it in this game with her scoring, but then you also have to talk about her facilitation when she had 7 assists in this game. I really think that whenever AZ started taking over the ball handling and the facilitating and playing that point guard role in the second half, I really think that that's kind of like when we locked in and we really started to run away with the game, again, because I'll talk about the full scope, but we had that 4 steals and 1 block. She had that 1 steal off of Talasia Cooper and then scored off of that too. So AZ is just such a complete player. She did all of it in this game. No free throws is kind of insane, but what a great stat line. I told y'all last week, I have all the confidence in the world in AZ Fud, okay? And AZ Fud came and she delivered like she does in every single big matchup this year. So just what a performance to see. From AZ Fud. This demon. And also with this game, she breaks top 10 all-time in three-pointers made at UConn history, which is fantastic. And she also reached 1,400 career points as well, okay? So love those things for AZ, okay? My friend told me this and I would really agree, but AZ Fud is definitely a momentum shifter. You think of multiple games that we've had when you're thinking about the Tennessee game that just happened with the 27-piece and everything she was able to do with that. The Michigan game, she was huge as well, thinking about Iowa. She's the one who can come in and make a lot of shots and put the game out of reach for the other team. And then moments where she's able to facilitate the lockdown defense as well. And just a lot of plays that don't necessarily show up on the stat sheet, like some of the possessions that she saved for Tennessee. But AZ Fud definitely showed so much in the Tennessee game that we already knew, and I'm glad, like I said, that we got to see her facilitate a little bit more and everything. But she came and just did what she always does, change momentum, and somebody who, even if it's not going her way, she's still going to play the game the right way the entire time. But this is a momentum shifter. This is a generational player, and just so many positive things that have been done by AZ Fud this season. And like I said, I feel like she's not getting the love she deserves. So that's what I'm here for. But just definitely something that I wanted to add. And I'm just excited for the rest of the season for AZ to see her go to Dallas, and I'm glad that she's playing more aggressive. And then we go on to baby goat Sarah Strong. So she played 37 minutes, had 26 points, 10 for 18 shooting, 2 5 from the 3, 4 4 free throw, 9 rebound, 4 assists, 4 turnover, 1 steal, and 2 block, okay? Don't lose the turnover. Overall, I thought that Sarah played really, really well. It's just the same things that you come to appreciate with Sarah Strong, right? Her ability to finish in the post, okay? That mid-range jump shot as well. She hit 2 threes in this game, 1 steal and 2 blocks. So getting it done on both ends, and just doing what Sarah Strong does. So really enjoyed Sarah Strong's performance in this game as well. Then we go into Sarah Williams, 29 minutes played. She had 12 points, 5 for 8 shooting, no threes, 2 of 3 free throws. She had 5 rebound, 2 assists, 1 turnover, no steal, and 2 block, okay? So I like the scoring for her, 12 points. She was efficient from the field, so those are good things, okay? I will say with the defense, I watched this game back twice, okay? And so after the first time, so 3 total times. And so she gave up too many threes. I think she gave up like 3 or 4 threes and everything. She had some good defensive possessions, but that's just something I noticed whenever I was rewatching the game, okay? Sometimes being late to contest and everything. So, things to improve on for sure. But for the most part, obviously, I thought she was a net positive in this game. And then we go on to Ashlyn Shade. So she played 31 minutes in this game. She had 10 points, 4 for 8 shooting, 2 of 4 from the 3-point line, no free throws, 3 rebound, 5 assists, 2 turnover, 2 steal, and 1 block, okay? Ashlyn Shade, this is probably one of the better games by the stat line. She did give you 10 points in this one, but just incredibly frustrating. There's multiple mistakes that she made in this one. That's really frustrating, okay? And like with the turnovers, bro, she had one where she just completely passed it to the other person, and that was something. She had something else when she stepped out of bounds. And so just stuff like that, getting beat on defense multiple times, taking bad shots in this game too. Like Ashlyn Shade, just like I said, in an extended amount of time, it's just not helping. And then when she sees the first one goes in, it's like a green light goes off in her head to keep showing. It's like, no, Michael Jordan, we do not need to do that. We do not need to do that. So I just remember her frustrating me in this game. I feel like she played too many minutes, but that's just my opinion, okay? I think she's best, like I said, whenever she takes like 4 or 5 shots in a game, she facilitates at times, because she's actually decent at facilitating, for the record. Plays some defense, you know, and she's able to come up with some steals, get some rebounds. I think it's that. But whenever Ashlyn Shade is one of your main offensive options, a starter, I don't really see anything good coming to fruition with that. And that's just my opinion watching her play. And then we go on to KK Arnold. So she played 28 minutes in this game. She had 3 points, 1 for 2 shooting, no threes, 1 and 2 free throws. She had 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 turnovers. She had 6 steals, and she had no blocks, okay? So KK offensively was a non-factor in this game, okay? And so it's just an entire thing of having to be better at the trade. I feel like in the big games, for the most part, KK has not really done what she needed to do in a sense. You know, in the Michigan game, she made a couple of shots at the end. She got a stop on defense at the end, so I will give her credit for that. But the majority of that game, she was hitting on nothing. If y'all actually watch that game, I remember that Ohio State game when she had 0 points and so on. Okay, so offensively, I don't know. I felt like we played better whenever she wasn't facilitating, whenever she was off the floor. Gino was switching up the lineups, trying to do something different, but like I always say, KK is not a natural point guard, okay? She can only make basic reads. She can't make sophisticated reads. She struggles with the post-entry passes, and there's just multiple times I see people wide open and KK not getting them the ball. It's the same thing. You understand what she's going to bring on defense, so I can say that, you know, she had 6 steals in this game, which is positive for sure, but multiple times I watch KK play, and I'm just like, it's just not working. It's just giving Gino's trying to fit her in a role that is not necessarily serving her. I feel like she's better off the bench, one, and I think that she's better off ball, and I think that we play better when she's off the ball. So you saw Gino doing some different stuff and everything with her minutes, which I think that we needed in this game, because AZ, for all intents and purposes, was the point guard in this game, and I loved it, like I talked about. And then we go on to the bench. Janelle Offie played 2 minutes, no points, and no field goals, no threes, no free throw, 2 rebounds, no assists, no turnover, no steal, and no block. Yeah, she didn't really get to play much, so there's not much to talk about. K9, 18 minutes played. She had 8 points, 4 for 6 shooting. She had no threes, no free throws, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnover, 1 steal, and no block. I thought K9 gave you some good stuff in this game. There was 2 possessions back-to-back in this game where she went in transition and got the layup. I think she had a euro on one of them. And so, yeah, that was good. That was good. Calling her own number, had some good stuff there. And I do like the 2-man game with her and AZ. There was one shot. AZ goes, takes the mid-range, it doesn't fall. And then K9 gets the rebound, gets it back to her for the 3. So that 2-man game, I would like to see more. I'd also like to see the 2-man game with AZ and Sarah Williams, because I think that they can pass to each other well. But I liked what she was doing there. Had some good moments on defense. And just able to play a role. Okay, so I'm glad that it seems like she's going to be getting more meaningful minutes, because I didn't like how he played with her minutes after the beginning of the season and stuff. And I think that that's partially the reason why she struggled, because it's like you have to regain the chemistry back again. And like I said, I think she's more of a natural at the point guard position than KK. So, you know, I think that she's doing some good stuff. Isabel played 16 minutes, 10 points, 3 for 6 shooting. She was 2 of 5 from the 3-point line, 2 free throw, 2 rebound, no assist, no turnover, no steal, and no block. Okay, so she had a couple good moments. There was this one moment at the end where AZ got it to her for a 3, something like that. So she had a couple good moments, but yeah. And then we go on to Tennessee for this one. So Spearman, 33 minutes played. She had 14 points, 7 for 13 shooting, 0-3 from the 3-point line, no free throw, 4 rebound, 3 assists, 2 turnover, 2 steal, and no block. So she did some good stuff in this one. We look at Janiah Barker, 27 minutes played, 16 points, 6 for 14 shooting, 3 of 8 from 3, 1 and 2 free throws. She had 2 rebound, 2 assists, 2 turnover, 2 steal, and no block. So she did some good stuff in this one too. And Denia Prawl, 19 minutes played. She had 4 points, 1 for 4 shooting, no threes, 2 of 4 from the free throw line, 4 rebound, no assists, 2 turnover, no steal, and no block. So, And then we go to Mia Paldo. 25 minutes played. She had 5 points, 2 for 9 shooting, 1 of 6 from the 3, no free throws, 2 rebound, 4 assists, 4 turnover, no steal, and no block. Okay, so not the best. And then Talasia Cooper, like I said before, I believe I really like her game, but she played 28 minutes, had 8 points, 3 for 5 shooting, 2 of 3 from the 3-point line, no free throw, 2 rebound, 3 assists, 4 turnovers, no steal, and no block, okay? Part of that is because of the defense. You know, AZ, she was locking her up, you know, and that steal that she got off her was T. But yeah, the bench, you didn't really get much, honestly. Latham gave you 2 points, Sybil gave you 6 points, and then Robertson gave you 11. Okay, so that's basically the gist for Tennessee. And now we take a look at some of the advanced metrics for this game. Okay, so scoring by quarter, the first quarter, 19-25, second quarter, 23-17. which I will talk about the whole game. And then the third quarter, 11-29, fourth quarter, 13-25. Okay, ultimately, UConn wins this one 96-66. And then the leaders for points, rebounds, and assists for this one, AZ Flood with 27 points. This demon. And then Sarah Strong had 9 rebounds leading the way, and AZ Flood had 7 assists and 2 turnovers. Okay, so AZ Flood leading in 2 or 3 of the categories. And then for Tennessee, Janiyah Barker with 16 points, Latham with 8 rebounds, and Paul Doe with 4 assists. Okay. And so on to some more advanced stats. So UConn from the field was 38 of 65 in this one, okay? And so it's going to be 58%, 11 of 22 from the three-point line, which is pretty good, which is going to be 50%, 9 of 11 from the free throw line, 82%, 39 total rebounds, 9 offensive, and 30 defensive. 25 assists, 14 steal, 6 block, 15 total turnover, which is too many, okay? You had 36 points off of turnovers, 22 fast break or transition points, and then you had 46 points in the paint, 9 fouls committed, no tech, largely was 32, and percent led was 86%. And then for Tennessee, 24 of 63 from the field, 38%, 10 of 31 from the three-point line. We gave up too many threes, and so that's going to be 32%, 8 of 12 from the free throw line, 6-7. We got the 6-7. Rebounds, 30 total rebounds for them, which is going to be 11 offensive and 19 defensive. You had 16 assists, 7 steal, no block, 20 total turnovers, which, Lord, and then 9 points off turnovers, 6 fast break points, 24 points in the paint, 11 fouls, technical fouls, there was none. Largest lead was 4, and percent led was 8. And so now my overall thoughts and takeaways on the game. Okay, so no Blanc in this one, so, you know, that's definitely something we have to note because I think Blanca's done a lot of positive things for us offensively and defensively for sure. Okay, so you got to respect that. And hopefully she'll be back soon. And so we looked pretty good. We started off with a 13-3 run, and then we just kept turning it over. Whether that's passing into the traffic, multiple moments with that, you have to take better care of the ball, passing it out of bounds, and you had traveling and stepping out of bounds and all the other stuff. And this reminds me, there was 2 moments that really frustrated me in this game, and it was with Sarah and AZ, okay? They were both coming up the court in transition. They were doing full court press. Nobody stayed back behind to help them and, like, try to relieve the pressure, set a screen, something like that. You know what I'm saying? And so then that was, like, 2 turnovers and everything. They were just trying to get rid of the pressure and evade it and everything. And so that really frustrated me in this game. So I didn't like that. But we just kept turning it over. We couldn't seem to score anything. And we had really bad defense as well. Okay, so that was incredibly frustrating. We gave up too many threes. Like I said, we gave up 10 threes in this game, which I'm not pleased with. And so, yeah, and then moments with bad shot selection. And I'm just like, what is he doing? And then he took AZ out at some point, I believe, in the first or second quarter. And so they went on a run, of course. It's like whenever you take a player like AZ out, it's like taking out Paige. It's like taking out Angel. Because what they're going to provide to you, not only offensively, but defensively and the gravity and all the other stuff. And so not having her on definitely hurt us, okay? And so that wasn't great. That was a big mistake by Gino, okay? And I believe we had like a 3-point lead going into the half or something like that. It wasn't by much, okay? And so the second half, rewatching this one for the third time, I noticed that it was worse than I thought it was in the third quarter. It really was, okay? And so, yeah, it was kind of a mess, really. Like, I can't believe there was a point Tennessee was leading this game because we started off so good. But eventually we got it together. Like I said, AZ's facilitation was something that was key in that, and we just started doing what we needed to do. Started getting the ball to go through the hoop, getting stops on defense as well, turning them over and all that stuff, and just what UConn's going to do. And so really locking in at a certain rate in the third quarter, okay? And so I want to see AZ facilitate more. I feel like we don't see it a whole lot, but I'm hopeful that we'll be able to see it more. And hopefully in a W, so yeah. And I think, like I said, lineups without KK and Ashlyn were better to me. I think that that's when we played better. And so I think that AZ saved multiple possessions in this game. There was multiple times she saved stuff and created some great plays out of it. And I think AZ was the best player on the floor for this one. So yeah, kind of making it harder than it needs to be, and some sloppy moments and everything, and having to play better, times where the offense got stagnant, times where we weren't doing what we needed to do on defense, but ultimately got it done in pretty dominant fashion. So I think that's some of my overall takeaways on Tennessee at Thursday. I do want to throw up a graphic I found on Twitter. I always have like a graphic I put in my notes for myself to kind of give the whole mood board of the episodes and stuff. So it's an AZ FUD graphic. It's really cool. But that's my takeaways on that one. And then we had a game against DePaul. AZ had 25 points, okay? 10 for 17 shooting, 4 or 6 from the 3, 1-on-1 free throw. She had 1 rebound, 2 assists, 3 turnover, 3 steal, and no block, okay? So AZ was doing our thing in this one, okay? I forgot to mention this, but in the Tennessee game, AZ just said that she really wanted to be aggressive, and seeing AZ play aggressive is one of the best things, okay? And just hunting her shot and everything. And she did something similar for the DePaul game. Just a lot of nice shots that she was taking this one. We had 4 threes made in this game. Her defense, or like, you just know what AZ is going to bring. So AZ had a really good game in this one, so it was really great to watch, okay? Sarah Strong, she had 14 points, 6 for 9 shooting, 1 of 2 from the 3, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. She had 6 rebounds, 5 assists, only 1 turnover, 2 steal, and no block. So he kind of was playing with her minutes in this game and everything, and so I didn't necessarily understand that, and I felt like she should have got more touches, like only 9 touches for one of the best players in the country. I didn't understand that and everything. Sarah Nazy should always have your most touches in the game, right? So that was something that I didn't necessarily like, okay? And so she did not play in the last game. Gino said basically that was due to like some tightness or something. So maybe she was like hurt in some fashion or just sore or whatever. So maybe that's what it could be potentially. And so I don't know, but you know, I thought it's decent. And then we go to Sarah Williams, 18 minutes played. She had 2 points, 1 for 2 shooting, no threes, no free throw, no rebound. She had 4 assists though, 1 turnover, no steal, and no block. She did not play well in this game. Multiple mistakes. I was not pleased. And then Ashlyn Shade, 36 minutes played, 8 points, 3 for 6 shooting, 2 of 3 from the 3, no free throws, and 4 rebound, 4 assists, 2 turnover, 2 steal, and no block, okay? Y'all know I don't care for Ashlyn Shade. And then we go on to KK. So she played 26 minutes, 12 points, 6 for 7 shooting. We had the 6-7. She had no threes, 0-2 from the free throw line. How do you miss both? She had 4 rebound, 5 assists, 2 turnover, 3 steal, and 2 blocks. So objectively, she had a good game. You know, sometimes I feel like the box score might be better than what you actually see. Like, she definitely had some good moments for sure in this one. So I'll give her credit, but we move on to the bench. Yana, 3 points. Gianna had 4 points. Khalees, 6 points. K9, 6 points. Okay, she also had 6 assists in this one. So those are 2 key stats that I really do want to highlight in this one. So I thought K9 was giving you some good stuff again in this one. And then Ali Zabel had 9 points. So that's kind of the gist. And then the DePaul stats, I'll put those up on the screen. Scoring by quarter, 31-10, 13-10, 20-9, 22-11. Ultimately, UConn wins this one, 86-40. Leaders, 4 points, rebounds, and assists. AZ leading the way with 25 points. And then Sarah Strong, 6 rebounds. And then K9 with 6 assists and no turnovers. Okay. And then DePaul, Novik with 10 points. Lord. And she led in rebounding with 9. And she led in assists with 5. Okay. More advanced stats. UConn was 37-61 from the field in this game, which is going to be 61%. 7 of 14 from the three-point line, which is going to be 50%. They were 5 of 10 from the free throw line, 50%. 35 total rebounds, AZ jersey number. And so that's going to be 9 offensive rebounds and 26 defensive rebounds. Yeah, 30 assists, 12 steal, 4 block, 10 total turnover. Yeah, 28 points off of turnovers, 17 fast breaker transition points, 54 points in the paint, 13 foul, no tech. Largest lead was 46, and percent lead was 98. For DePaul, 15 of 54 from the field, 28%. 4 of 23 from the 3, Lord, 17%. 6 as well from the free throw line, 50%. 25 total rebound. He had 12 offensive and 13 defensive. 9 assists, 7 steal, 2 block, 18 total turnover. 4 points off turnovers, 1 fast break point, which I don't know how that's possible. I guess that's the transition take foul and making a free throw. I don't really know. 20 points in the paint, 16 foul, no tech. Largest lead was going to be 0, and percent led was going to be 0. Okay, so there's that. Overall takeaways on this one, I was glad that AZ got her shots, as she should, okay? And Sarah Strong, like I said, only getting 9 touches is unacceptable. So, like I said, I didn't get it, but maybe there's something deeper there. Maybe she's like sore or something, I don't know. And then I still think there's a lot to be desired with our movement of the basketball, okay? We're still bad at post-entry passes. I believe Gino mentioned this during the Tennessee game, and I was literally saying on my live on TikTok, if you'll follow me on there, I'll put that on the screen, but I was like, this is something that I've been noticing, being bad at passing into the post, and so something that we still have to improve on. I think the defense was all right. We've had better defense and needing more rebounds and stuff, but yeah, there's just multiple times where the offense went stagnant and everything, and just little things that we can improve on, okay? So I think that that's kind of some of my overall takeaways from the DePaul game. And then we go into Butler. This is a game UConn just played today as I'm recording this, okay? I keep forgetting to say the scores and everything, but UConn won this one 80-48, okay? So getting into the stats, AZ Fudd, she played 23 minutes, gave us 17 points, 6 of 14 shooting, 2 of 5 from the 3, 3 of 4 free throws. She had a 1 rebound, 4 assists, no turnover, 3 steal, and no block, okay? So just the consistency of AZ Fudd, just the great things from AZ Fudd. There was a moment she was posting up in this game, okay? And just really enjoying her being more aggressive again, like I've been saying. So enjoyed her in this game, as always. I like that they did something different with like the uniforms and everything. I believe it was breast cancer awareness, but like the pink accents and then the shoes and the socks. I thought that was a nice touch, but enjoy her as always, all around. And Sarah Strong did not play this game, the aforementioned stuff that I already talked about and everything. And he also said it was for rest. Okay. So hopefully she's back soon. And then Sarah Williams, 21 minutes played. She had 11 points, 4 for 6 shooting, no threes, 3 of 3 free throw, 3 rebound, 4 assists, 2 turnover, 1 steal, and 3 block. Overall, she did some good stuff in this one. I think that she gave up some shots that she shouldn't have with the threes and everything. So I think as a team, having to be better with our perimeter defense, like I kind of mentioned earlier. Allie Zabel, she played 31 minutes, had 11 points, 4 of 6 from the field shooting. She was 1 of 2 from the 3, 2 of 2 free throw, 4 rebound, no assist, 3 turnover, 4 steal, and 1 block. Okay, so she did some good stuff in this one for you. I don't know how much of this was in regulation. Like I said, I don't really pay much mind to the fourth quarter and everything in regards to my breakdowns and all that other stuff because people stat pad, which I'll get to. And so the stat padding is in the room with us with Ashlyn Shade. She played 36 minutes, had 11 points, 5 for 13 shooting, okay? And so 1 of 5 from the 3, no free throw. She had 3 rebound, 5 assists, 2 turnover, 1 steal, and no block, okay? Ashlyn Shade, every time, like, she was just taking so many bad shots in this game. Those pull-up middies were not going in. Like, she's at her best when she's catching and shooting the 3. So, yeah, she's just taking some dumb shots in this one, getting beat on defense, like, just, I don't know what she was doing in this one. And then she stat padded. So it looks better than it really was. There was a point she was 1 of 6, by the way. KK, 24 minutes played, 10 points, 4 for 7 shooting, 1 of 2 from the 3, 1 of 3 free throw, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 4 steals, and 1 block. So a decent game for her. My same criticism still applied to this one. But yeah. And I thought that the 3 was good. And then the bench, Yana, 4 points. And Jana, 4 points. I thought she gave you good stuff when she had 11 rebounds in this game. And then Khalees, 6 points. Okay. K9 had 6 points, 3 for 6 shooting. No threes, no free throws, 4 rebound, 2 assists, no turnover, 1 steal, and no block. Okay. And I like what K9's giving you yet again. Okay. So I was pleased with that. Butler, I throw the stats on the screen. And so now we get onto some advanced stats for this one. Scoring by quarter, 13 to 24, 6 to 20, 16 to 24, and 13 to 12. Ultimately, UConn wins this one 80 to 48. Okay. So we look at the leaders for points, rebounds, and assists. Okay. So AZ Fudd leading with 17 points, Jana with 11 rebound, Ashlyn Shade with 5 assists. And then for Butler, Dotsy with 13 points, Jackson with 12 rebound, and number 2 with 4 assists. Okay. More advanced stats. UConn was 33 of 6-7 from the field with this one, 49%. 5 of 17 from the 3. They shot my grandma's birthday from 3. 3-point shooting was not it, okay? 29%, 9 of 12 from the free throw line, 75%. 38 total rebound, which is going to be 16 offensive rebounds and 22 defensive rebound, 20 assists, 14 steal, 5 block, 12 total turnover, 37 points off turnover, 8 fast breaker transition points, 42 points in the paint, 12 foul, no tech, largest lead was 36 and percent level was 97. For Butler, 19 of 52 from the field, 37%, 7 of 28 from the 3, which is going to be 25%, and then 3 of 6 from the free throw line, 50%. 30 total rebound, you had 12 offensive and 18 defensive rebounds. 16 assists, you had 2 steal, 3 block, 23 total turnover, 13 points off turnover, 2 fast break or transition points, 22 points in the paint. You had 14 foul, no tech, largest lead was 1, and percent led was 2. Okay. Takeaways on this one, no Sarah or Blanca kind of explains why we didn't score more because we only had 80 points in this game. So I think that is just something to note. So that's with the scoring and then the rebounding and then what they're going to bring on defense. So I think that's something to know. Still times where the offense is looking stagnant. And like I said, things that we can improve on with the movement of the basketball. Perimeter defense needing to improve and everything. And so, yeah, I didn't like the amount of points that we gave up in the first quarter and just having to lock in defensively and be better. It's really just nitpicking out it straight. But it was a fine game. You know, that's my takeaways on that game overall. But yeah, to recap with the UConn games, they win Tennessee 96 to 66. And then they win the DePaul game 86 to 40. And then they win the last game 80 to 48. UConn, obviously things to improve. I still think that UConn is the best team in women's college basketball. All the biggies this, all the biggies that. But these other conferences, the Big Ten not moving me outside of like 2 or 3 teams. Same thing with like the Big 12. The SEC only has 3 or 4 good teams if we're going to keep it a buck. Okay, Auburn is not good. Like there's certain teams. So like that whole thing is lazy and they can't control what conference that they play in. But I'm taking UConn over everybody every time. Okay, so we'll see what happens. I would like to see him change the rotations and do some other stuff going into March, but we'll see. Okay, now we go on to one of the biggest games that I was excited for this week, which is going to be Texas versus LSU. Not going to bury the lead this time. So Texas wins this one 77 to 64. Yes. Okay, so now we go on to advanced stats. Okay, so I want to talk about Rory Harmon first. Okay, so she played 33 minutes in this one, had 11 points, 4 for 13 shooting, no threes, 3 of 4 free throw, 1 rebound, 5 assists, 3 turnovers, 6 steal, and no block. Okay. Overall, Rory did not shoot the basketball well. This is outdated. I believe at this rate it was 4 of 14. Okay, so that wasn't great. I will definitely say that. Okay, outside of that, I thought she played extremely well with her defense, especially on Michaela Williams. There was this one stat, and it was like whenever Rory was on the floor, she limited her to 2 points, and she got 2 turnovers out of her. And then when she went off the floor, Michaela Williams had 11 points. Okay, so I think that her with that defensive assignment was really good, and just how great that she is on defense in general. Whenever we're talking about her being able to force a 5-second violation, the 10-second violation, whenever you can't get across the court as well, and just locking people up, making people have to pass. So she's just really disruptive. She's like, I'm small, but I have a lot of heart, basically. And you really saw that in this game, okay? And so the 6 steals is absolutely insane, too. And she actually breaks the record for most steals in program history for Texas, okay? At the time this graphic was made, it was 347, but I'm pretty sure that it's outdated. And so, yeah, that's absolutely insane. That's absolutely insane what she's able to do there. As we know, she is the all-time assist leader for Texas. So she was really putting it together on both ends. And then her facilitation with 5 assists is good. She just knows how to get the ball to her playmakers and when to, and just how to run the floor and everything. And I said this in my reviews and stuff, but the first time they played each other, I didn't necessarily understand why he took her out in the 4th quarter. Okay, he shouldn't have done that. Okay, she had like maybe 1 or 2 mistakes, and I didn't think that it warranted that. I don't think that it looked better, like Vic Schaefer said and everything. And so, this one she played in the 4th quarter did exactly what needed to be done. There was a point he took her out in the 2nd, I believe. That was a huge mistake. Okay, because LSU went on a whole run and everything, but she did her role. Okay, so to me, she's definitely one of the standout players in this game for Texas, for sure. So shout out to Ray Harmon. Okay. And then I want to go on to Madison Booker. So she played 38 minutes, 18 points, 6 for 21 shooting, 1 of 4 front of 3, 5 of 6 free throw, 3 rebound, 4 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, and no block. Okay. Madison Booker, I think it gets to a rate when she stops shooting the ball effectively, it's like she has to stop shooting. Like, Vic won't tell her to stop shooting. She just keeps going and going and going. And it's just like, when you don't have it, you don't have it. I believe it was like the first half or the first quarter or two, she was doing some good stuff. She might have hit 1 shot in the 3rd quarter, but it was just brick after brick after brick. And it's just like, we got to start facilitating. And there were some moments where she did that and had some good stuff at the back half. And I've said this before, but we know notoriously she does not play well in the big matchups with shooting the basketball. If we're looking at that SEC championship last year when she was, 3 of 19 from the field, and UCLA whenever she was 0-6 in the 2nd half. It's just multiple times. And I thought she was starting to kind of shake that narrative and everything with some other games this year where she wasn't necessarily efficient, but she was still at least like getting a 20 ball and everything, and it was like knocking on the door 50%, so it was kind of forgivable to me in a sense. But yeah, this one, 6 of 21, I can't do that. Okay, she got 18 points and she found other ways to be impactful when you had 4 assists in this game, when you had 1 steal in this game. But I think that's one of my critiques of Madison Booker at this rate. But one thing about her is that she's going to get to that elbow area. She's going to take that mid-range, okay? And so that's what she's going to do, and that's what she did in this game, okay? So now we go into Justice Carlton. 16 minutes played. She had 7 points, 2 for 3 shooting. She had no threes, 3 of 3 free throw, 1 rebound, no assist, no turnover, no steal, and 1 block, okay? So, I think it's decent for the time. Bree Cunningham, 17 minutes played, 4 points, 1 for 3 shooting, no threes, 2 of 2 free throw. She had 8 rebound, no assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, and 2 block. Okay, so we'd like to see a little bit more for the time. Then we go on to Jordan Lee, 20 minutes played, 3 points, 1 for 3 shooting, 1 and 2 from the 3-point line. She had no free throw, 2 rebound, 3 assists, 3 turnover. She had 2 steals and no blocks though. Okay. So the positive thing is that she only took 3 shots because, like I've said before, and if you've been watching Texas games consecutively like I have, she's been in a shooting slump. Okay, so that was what's best for this game. Had some moments on defense and had some moments where she was able to be positive outside of the shooting. But yeah, okay. And then we go into the bench. Sidbury gave you 10 points. Okay, so she made all of her shots 4 for 4 and 2 of 2 free throw, 3 rebound, and 1 block. So those are the positive things for her. Oldacre, she played 23 minutes, gave you 6 points on 2 of 4 shooting, no threes, 2 of 2 free throw. She had 6 rebound, no assists, no turnover, 1 steal, and 1 block. Okay, would have liked to see her and Bree Cunningham get more touches. I will say that, but she's always gonna do some good stuff, and she's always tough, and she even when she commits a foul, she never cares. So I like Oldacre. And then we go into Aaliyah Crump, which I also think she was a big difference maker for this one. So she played 23 minutes. She had 16 points, 7 for 10 shooting, 2 of 2 from the 3, 0-1 from the free throw line. She had 5 rebound, okay, no assist, no turnover, 1 steal, and no block, okay. So I thought she was a huge difference maker in this game. I believe the first time LSU and Texas played each other, she did not play in the game, okay. So I think that that's part of the reason why they lost that game, because they really needed that. And just super impactful. I would have liked to see her have more touches and everything. I would have liked to see her play a little bit more time. I'm going to assume that she's on a minute restriction, because if she's not, then it would be blasphemous for Vic Schaefer to not play her more time in this game. But she was efficient with the touches that she did get. She got a steal, I believe, that led into a bucket as well. And so enjoyed watching her play and everything. She's going to be key for Texas, okay? So hopefully Vic can get her and Jordan Lee to be kind of locked in at the same time with the shooting and all that other stuff. But yeah, she did some good stuff. Preston, 7 minutes. She gave you 3 assists, which is good. But yeah, I don't know. Vic irritates me with that. Judd was playing for 5 minutes. She gave you 2 points. So Now we go on to LSU. So let's start off with Michaela Williams for this one. Okay, so she played 37 minutes, gave you 20 points, 7 for 11 shooting, 3 of 5 from the 3, 3 of 5 free throws, 2 rebound, 1 assist, 5 turnovers, good God. No steal and 1 block, okay? Like I kind of said, most of her damage was done whenever Rory was out of the game. And she was hitting some good stuff. She was hitting some good stuff in this game, okay? When she had 3 threes, they let her walk into those threes. You can't not give space like that. You cannot give space like that. And just, getting into her bag. So yeah, most of her damage was pretty much done in the first half in this one, okay? And then the 5 turnovers, part of that is the pressure and everything from Rory and the defense in general, but you can't cough up the ball 5 times. So, like, to me, it's unacceptable. You'll know I hate turnovers. And so, yeah, the best player on the floor for LSU and everything. I think that Kim could have done a better job setting some screens for her and scheming her open because she was the top player in this game and she was the top player in the last time that they played Texas. So I don't know why Kim kind of didn't do that and everything. So, I mean, that's some notes there. We go on to Flage. She played 34 minutes, 11 points, 3 for 14 shooting, 1 of 3 from the 3, 4 for free throws, 7 rebound, 4 assists, 3 turnover, 2 steal, and 1 block. It's time to have more uncomfortable conversations about Flage, I fear, okay? Y'all seen my podcast before, some of my reviews and videos I do about women's basketball on my channel, TikTok, whatever. Y'all know I like Flage. I'm a Flage fan. I think that she has the talent of a lottery pick for sure, okay? However, I think people need to stop making excuses for her at this rate, okay? The only ranked matchup I think she played well in was Oklahoma, okay? And there might have been one other ranked matchup that she played in well, okay? Georgia doesn't count because they weren't ranked. And so every time it gets to these big matchups, she doesn't play well, period. Like, she doesn't shoot the ball well. And so I think just somebody of her caliber as a player, being a senior, supposed to be a leader on this team, you expect more, okay? And so I just know how talented Flage is, and I've seen games where she puts it all together and she looks really good, like that Oklahoma game. And then I see games like this. I forgot to mention this in my review, but there was literally this one moment where she was dribbling into oblivion. I believe they got the block on her, to steal on her, she missed a shot, something like that. I don't even remember what happened, but it just gets to a certain point, you have to pass the ball. You have to pass the ball. I think that she was trying, like, in a sense, I can appreciate her trying to be more aggressive because in one of my reviews, I literally talked about how Kim was taking her out like 4 or 5 minutes in the first quarter, and I felt like she wasn't getting enough touches and all that other stuff. And Flage was aggressive in this game, to her credit. It's just the shots weren't going in. I also think she was forcing it and taking some bad shots in this one, okay? So I think that's something there, having to play better in the big matchups. I'm tired of the excuses, y'all. I'm tired of the excuses. She has to show up in these big matchups. She does. So I think that's some frustration, okay? Having some good stuff on defense and everything, but I just personally, like 3 of 14, it gets to a point. It gets to a point. So I think that's something there. I think that's something there with Flage and something that we have to talk about more. Like, y'all can't keep moving the goalposts. Enough is enough, okay? And then let's talk about Grace Knox. 19 minutes. She gave you 4 points, 2 for 4 shooting, no threes, no free throws, 6 rebound, no assist, no turnover, no steal, no block. You would like to see more for the time, only 4 points. Kay Koval, 20 minutes played, 4 points, 2 for 3 shooting. She had no threes, no free throws, 4 rebound, no assist, no turnover, 1 steal, and 1 block. So, y'all know Kay Koval doesn't move me. And then we go into Richard. She played 30 minutes in this one. She had 2 points, 1 for 10 shooting, 0-2 for a 3, no free throw, no rebound, 3 assists, 2 turnover, no steal, and no block, okay? She did not play well in this one. And I told one of my friends this, that she's kind of been a secret weapon for LSU. If you've seen some of the games, like you've seen the Florida game and some stuff, and she can facilitate the ball. She likes to get into that mid-range, and she can score efficiently and effectively at that, and she can also play some really good defense as well. And so I thought that this was someone that they weren't necessarily going to be accounting for in a scouting report and everything, and she just didn't shoot the ball well, okay? And, pressuring and all that stuff to make sure that she doesn't get to where she wants to go to with the sets and everything. So just was not her finest hour when you're 1 of 10 from the field, okay? And then we go into the bench. Joyner, 18 minutes played. She had 5 points, 2 for 3 shooting, no threes, 1 and 2 free throws. She had 2 rebound, no assist, no turnover, no steal, and no block. Okay, so And then Zakiya Johnson, okay, 17 minutes played. She had 7 points, 3 for 5 shooting, no threes, 1 of 3 free throws, 7 rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 1 steal, and no block in this one. So I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. Okay, and so wasn't this the one where she tried to go for the Euro and then she missed it and then she went for it again and got it? It might have been this game or one of the recent games, but that was still cool play regardless. And then Bella Hines, 2 minutes played. She had 2 points, 1-of-1 shooting. She had no threes, no free throws, no rebound, no assist, no turnover, no steal, and no block. Lord. Malaysia, 23 minutes played, 9 points, 4 for 9 shooting, 1 of 3 from the 3, no free throw, 2 rebound, 5 assists, I believe. 6 turnovers is unacceptable. Okay. She did have 2 steals and 1 block. It's the same thing with Malaysia that I say. It's always these contested layups packaged with fancy finishes that. And she can't finish. She can't finish a lot of times. We're missing easy stuff in transition and all that other stuff. And I'm still remembering that one play from one of the games where she literally got a steal in transition and she missed a layup. It's just stuff like that. It's backbreaking, and the turnovers is terrible, and times where she's getting dumb fouls on defense. Having to be more disciplined. I think that's the thing for Malaysia and everything. And so that's something there, and that's something there, okay? And so now we take a look at some of the advanced stats for this one, okay? So scoring by quarter, first quarter 17-13, second quarter 19-27, and then the third quarter was tied 17-17. The fourth quarter was 11-20. Like I said, Texas wins this one 77-64. And then we look at more for the leaders: 4 points, rebounds, and assists. Madison Booker leading the way for Texas with 18 points, and you had Bria Cunningham with 8 rebounds, and Rory Harmon with 5 assists to 3 turnover, okay? Don't love the turnover, but yeah. And then Michaela Williams had 20 points for LSU. Flaja had 7 rebounds in this one, and Malaysia had 5 assists to 6 turnovers, which is a terrible assist to turnover ratio. Good Lord. And so now we look from the field and all that stuff. So Texas was 28 of 66 from the field, which is pretty good, 42%. 4 of 8 from the 3, 50%. 17-20 from the free throw line, 85%. 38 total rebounds, 15 offensive, and 23 defensive rebounds. You had 15 assists, 12 steal, 5 block, 10 total turnovers, which is about their average. You had 12 points off turnovers, 13 fast breaker transition points, 26 points in the paint, 17 foul, no tech, largely was 17, and the percent led was going to be 69. And so for LSU, 25 of 60 from the field, 42%, 5 of 13 from 3, 38%. You had 9 of 14 from the free throw line, which is going to be 64%. 38 total rebounds, 13 offensive and 25 defensive, 14 assists, 6 steal, 4 block, 18 total turnover. You had 8 points off of turnovers. You had 4 fast breaker transition points, 32 points in the paint, 18 foul, no tech, largely was 6, and percent led was going to be 25%. Okay. And so my overall takeaways on this one is this is how the first game was supposed to go whenever they played each other. I remember talking about this and saying that I really believed in Texas because of their stifling defense and stuff, and just the way that they play offense, making the extra pass and all the other stuff, and what I'd seen from them previously. As we know, Texas lost that game to LSU, and they look terrible. They look terrible. Part of that was because of LSU, and part of that was because Texas just did not show up to play, okay? And so this was how I thought the first one was going to go. And so they did exactly what they needed to do in this one with the Texas, okay? And so in the beginning, it was pretty close. It was pretty close and everything. Like I said, whenever Vic took out Rory, that certainly didn't help things and everything. And then LSU kind of started to gain momentum and have a little run of their own, and Michaela Williams started doing her own thing. And so that was a huge problem to me with Vic's rotations and everything at that moment. Okay, he put Rory back in, and Rory did her thing on Michaela Williams and just impacting on both ends of the floor. You know, it was just insane what she was doing in this game. Okay, so that was something there, and then they were just able to close it out. I mean, I think LSU didn't really get production out of their guards outside of Michaela Williams in this one. And so you needed more, okay? And they had too many turnovers in this one. Some were unforced, and some was just Texas stifling defense and the pressure that they were going to put on them, which they did, okay? In the beginning, Texas defense was questionable. They finally locked in and did what they were supposed to do, okay? And so, yeah, just too many turnovers in this game. Bad shot selection, okay? Kim Mulkey said on the presser, and I would agree with that. And like I said, I think Texas having Leah Crump is a game changer for this one. Did not have her for the last one. And so I think having her is part of the reason that they win too. And so I still question Vic's rotations, but at least he let Rory play in the fourth quarter for this one. I think that the officiating was definitely inconsistent for this one. I felt multiple offensive fouls should have been called in this one that weren't. I don't think it decided the game. It was kind of a physical game in a sense, and you kind of saw them getting chippy and everything. You saw, like, I believe Madison Booker, and I believe it was Michaela Williams. I think it was one play. I think it was when Madison Booker first scored. It was like the first or second time she scored. And I think Michaela Williams thought it was like an offensive foul that didn't get called, and then like there was something there, and it was definitely getting chippy in this game for sure. Okay. And so I do want to say, I think Texas and LSU is a really, really good rivalry. We need to push that more. I don't know if I'm the only one who's tired of Texas and South Carolina. I don't know. Like, they just make each other play ugly, okay? This was good hoops. This was good hoops. There was definitely times where it looked ugly, but this is what we needed to see, okay? And there was that whole clip that was posted of Vic Schaefer and of Kim Mulkey. If you see the Texas game, Vic Schaefer get mad every game, and he take that jacket off, okay? And just, they're so animated and fun, and like these teams playing, like there's something there. Like, we need to promote that more. I'm sorry. This is eating exciting. I love me a good rivalry. And they did exactly what they had to do. With the basketball, with the coaching, it got fiery in this game. I was seated. I was like, okay, period. So yeah, Texas really locked in the second half, did exactly what they needed to do, and it was a good one. I was very much looking forward to this game, and I think that this was a way better game than the first one. That first game, it was a mess. They were both playing ugly. LSU showed me that they could win ugly in that game. This one, we had some good stuff going on here. So this was one of my favorite games of the week. So I might rewatch this one and maybe have more thoughts on it whenever I go on live or whatever. But I definitely enjoyed this one, okay? And so we'll see what happens with LSU in the future. I do agree with people that there needs to be some leadership, okay? Flage, I'm not seeing the leadership, to be honest with y'all. I think Flage has been disappointing this year. I forgot to say that earlier. To keep it a buck, I think that having to perform better, it just goes to the same things, having to get more production. I think not having enough in the post. Like, I said this in my review and I forgot to say this, but I'll say it now. The fact that it's like they have 3 post players trying to do what 1 elite post player can do, And so I think that that's something there. And I think eventually that's going to catch up with them, and the inconsistency at times in general, because you don't know who's going to be your number 1 scorer every single night. Maybe it's Michaela, maybe it's Flage, maybe it's Mylasia, maybe sometimes it's Jada Richard, but you don't know who's going to be number 1. They don't have a consistent number 1, and so I think that that's definitely going to hurt them as well. And some things that were their calling card recently, like the rebounds, they tied with the rebounds, okay? And so they had more turnovers when you have 18 turnovers in this game, less points in transition, okay? They narrowly escaped with points in the paint. They had 18 fouls committed in this game, okay? So you can't do those things. And so Texas just had some more composure in this game down the stretch. And so yeah, I keep thinking I'm done with these reviews, but I keep having some more stuff to say. I wanted to take a quick second to talk about Texas playing Oklahoma. Texas won this game 78-70. I believe this was the game before they played LSU, so I do not feel like going through all the stats. I'll put it on the screen, okay, so you guys can read it if y'all are watching it on YouTube and everything and all that stuff. But some overall takeaways on this one for me, at the very least, it was extremely concerning to me that Texas only won by 8, despite the fact they had like a 20-point lead, okay? And it just gets to a point of being in dogfights with teams that they shouldn't be. I talk about this every single time with Texas, but you have to lock in. You have to lock in on both sides of the ball. And so I felt in this game, he was trying so hard to get Jordan Lee involved that it was messing up the entire flow of the offense. I felt Madison Booker should have had more shots in this one because she was efficient. She was like 7-10 from the field. Aaliyah Crump should have had more shots and minutes played. Like I said, she might be on a minutes restriction, but that's something there. They did what they needed to do on both sides of the ball, but the fact that they only won by 8, that's very concerning. They put a lot of pressure on Cydia Norman in this one. It wasn't her best. She was 3 of 13 from the field and everything. Oklahoma, like I said, having to be better overall with their defense. The zone is not going to work all the time. You have to play better man defense and stuff. And, I think that that's something that has been big for Oklahoma that I've been talking about, having to be better offensively and just, slow down with the half-court offense and everything, helping Cydia Norman with the pressure and everything. But, that was kind of the gist of that game and things that I remember. Next game I have on the docket to talk about is going to be UCLA versus Iowa, okay? Ultimately, UCLA wins this game 88-65. And so the stats in this one, Lauren Betts, she played 21 minutes, gave you 16 points, 8 for 11 shooting, no threes, no free throws, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 turnovers. You cannot have 4 turnovers in this one. And she had no steals and no blocks, okay? So overall takeaways on Lauren Betts, I thought she did some good stuff in this game, her ability to finish and all that stuff through contact. You know what you're going to get there. And she hit this one shot in the game. It was kind of like a turnaround jumper near the rim. It was something different than she's typically done, but I like that. Like I said, I feel like Lauren Betts has been carrying UCLA defense, and nobody, like, I don't know. So having to have that, we know she's 6'7", so you understand what she can bring. She had a good game in this one, so gotta give Lauren her credit in this one. I believe she got in foul trouble in this one too, and Iowa did not really capitalize off of that, so that's something there. But like I said, I become fond of Lauren. The Minnesota Lynx are definitely taking her, in my opinion. Okay, I've been feeling this way for a while. Charlize Ledger-Walker, she played 29 minutes, gave you 10 points, 5 for 8 shooting, 0-1 from the 3, no free throw. She had 5 rebound, 5 assists, and 3 turnover, no steal, and no block, okay? And so having some dumb turnovers in this one for sure. I don't like that. Overall, she was decent, but yeah. Neepkins, 27 minutes played, 10 points. She had 4 of 8 shooting, 2 of 4 from the 3, no free throw, 4 rebound, 4 assists, 1 turnover, no steal, and 1 block. I like Neepkins. I would like to see her have more shot attempts. The on-ball defense is still questionable. Things that we already knew about Gianna Neepkins, okay? And then Halkaz, 29 minutes played, 6 points, 2 for 7 shooting, 0-1 from the 3, 2 free throws. She had 2 rebound, 4 assists, 2 turnover, 1 steal, and no block. Every time I watch UCLA, she's streaky in my opinion, okay? So that's how I even got my opinion on her in the first place, but just did not shoot the basketball well. Found other ways to be impactful, but 2 of 7, just not great. And then Kiki Rice, She played 32 minutes. She had 17 points, 6 for 11 shooting, 1-1 from the 3, 4 free throws. She had 4 rebounds, 7 assists, no turnover, 1 steal, and no block. Okay. And so, yeah, it was a decent game. Like I said, I would like to see her utilize that jumper more because she's going to keep driving and everything. But let's get into the jumper more. The bench, she ended bets. She had 7 points, which is good. And had some good stuff for you with 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, no stealing, no block, 3 of 5 shooting. And then Muse had 0 points, not much to talk about. Dugalich had a really good game in this one. Okay, they couldn't stop her. 26 minutes played, she had 22 points, 9 for 13 shooting, 3 of 4 from the 3, 1-1 free throw. She had 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 5 steal, okay, and no block. So Dugalich was getting it done on both ends. So shout out to Dugalich in this one, she did her thing. And then Billick had 0 points. For Iowa, Hannah Stokey, 28 minutes played. She had 13 points, 5 for 6 shooting, no threes, 3 of 6 from the free throw line, 8 rebound, 4 assists, 3 turnover, 1 steal, and no block. I have said this before. Hannah Stokey do not move me. Hannah Stokey do not move me, okay? And so that's number 1. And 2, I think she be playing dirty sometimes, for sure. Okay, there was this one play in the game. I think she elbowed Dugalich or something, or slapped her in the face or something. And so, yeah, I didn't like that. And then whenever I rewatched the game, whenever they played us, UConn, she was doing some dirty stuff. She was pushing and shoving people. I don't like that. I don't like that, okay? Like, it just gets to a point. Who's she feeling like, AT? And then she did her thing offensively, but she doesn't move me. And then Hayden, 25 minutes played, 19 points, 7 of 12 shooting. She had no threes, 5 of 5 free throw, 3 rebound, 1 assist, 5 turnovers. Good God. 2 steal and no block. Overall has some good stuff, but you can't turn over the ball 5 times, okay? And part of that's the defense, but Lord, like UCLA defense is not that good. Like, please, 5 turnovers. Deal only gave you 3 points, not much to talk about, 1 for 7. Chit Chat, 38 minutes played. She had 10 points, 3 for 8 shooting, 2 of 6 from 3, 2 of 2 free throw, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 turnover, 1 steal, and 1 block. Had some good stuff. Fearblock, 25 minutes, no points, 0 of 5. So that's really tough. And then the bench, you didn't really get much. Hayes, 0 points. Journey, 7 points. Tegan, 1 point. And then Taylor Stremlow, 12 points. Okay, so that's everybody for Iowa at this rate. Now we go into some advanced statistics for this one, okay? So scoring by quarter, 13 to 17. Second quarter, 15 to 22. Third quarter, 17 to 23. And then the fourth quarter is going to be 20 to 26 in this one, okay? And so we are looking at the stats. UCLA, 37 to 64 from the field in this one, so it's going to be 58%. 6 to 12 from the three-point line, 50%. 8 to 8 from the free throw line, which is going to be 100%. 32 total rebounds in this one, 7 offensive, 25 defensive. 29 assists, okay, which is great. 7 steal, 2 block, 15 total turnover, 18 points off turnover, 9 fast break points, 56 points in the paint, 21 fouls committed, Lord. And then they had no techs, largely was 27, and percent led was 93. So for Iowa, 23 of 53 shooting, Lord, 43%. And so 5 of 21 from the 3, 24%. 14 of 19 from the free throw line, 74%. 24 total rebounds, 8 offensive, and 16 defensive. 20 assists, 5 steal, 3 block, 19 total turnovers, 10 points off of turnovers, 5 fast breaker transition points. You had 26 points in the paint, 13 foul, no tech, largely was 3, and percent led was going to be 4. So that's all the advanced stats. I think overall, UCLA just shot the ball better in this one. Iowa had plenty of clean looks, and they could not get them off, okay? I think that UCLA defense was decent. I don't think that it was anything insane, so I think that they just basically shot the ball better. I think that Iowa did not have enough offensively. Like I said, when Lauren got in foul trouble, they didn't capitalize off of that. The officiating wasn't my favorite. Sometimes you watch games, and it's just like, one team was just better, and there's not really much that I can talk about. So that was my takeaways on that. I forgot to talk about UCLA last week, but I didn't feel like editing that in, so I was just going to have to take my L for that and then talk about that. So that's my takeaways there. Now we go on to Vanderbilt versus Kentucky, okay? This one was a slog to get through in my opinion, but ultimately Vanderbilt gets the dub 84 to 83 in this one. Okay, and so the stats in this one, Michaela Blake, she played 40 minutes, had 37 points for you, and that's going to be 13 to 25 shooting, so she was efficient for a change. If you watch Michaela Blake's enough, you know she's not efficient, okay? She's a shot chucker, no shade. 6 to 9 from the 3, 5 to 6 free throws. She had 2 rebound, 4 assists, 3 turnover, 4 steal, and no block, okay? There was a point Michaela Blake's was like 3 of 12 or 4 of 12 in this game and everything, but she kept hanging on. One thing about her, she's gonna keep chucking the shot. She's gonna keep chucking the shot. Who's she feeling like? Arike? So that was one, and I think it was basically in the second half. She just absolutely exploded. I don't know where Kentucky's defense was in the second half. She picked them apart, okay? So she did what she needed to do there. She did what she needed to do, and yeah, she's gonna carry the team on her back always, okay? She did have 4 assists in this one, you know, so that's something that is worth noting in that, and 4 steals as well, so having some moments where she was able to come up huge. There was this one play in the game, okay, and she literally fouled Clara Strack, okay? She like hit her in the face or something, and that wasn't upgraded to a flagrant. That was a common foul. To me, ridiculous. I didn't like that. But overall, she played well in this game, so I have to give Michaela Blake her credit, okay? And then we go on to Sasha Washington, 31 minutes. She had 15 points, 7 for 7 shooting, no threes, 1 or 2 free throw, 4 rebound, 3 assists, 1 turnover, no steal, and no block. Okay, so this is more production than you typically get out of her, at least from what I've seen. Normally she's giving you like 7, 8 points, hovering around that, but she had a good game. Okay, so got to give her credit for that. And so we go on to Galvin. 37 minutes played. She had 16 points, 4 for 11 shooting. Good God. 1 of 6 from 3, 7 of 7 free throw, 1 rebound, 7 assists, 1 turnover, 3 steal, and no block. Okay. And so did not play well in this one. 4 of 11 is not great. I'm glad she was able to capitalize off of the free throw line. She had 7 assists and 3 steals. So she found ways to be impactful. She wasn't great shooting the ball. I guess I'll put it that way. But, she found ways to be impactful in this one. Number 15, 12 minutes played. She had no points. Okay. 0-4 shooting and 0-1 for the 3. No free throw, no rebound, no assist, no turnover, 1 steal, and no block. Okay, so not a great game. And then you have Passat, 30 minutes played, 8 points. She had 3 for 7 shooting, 2 of 6 from the 3. No free throw, 5 rebound, I believe, 2 assists, no turnover, no steal, and no block. Okay, and so, yeah. She just irritates me with some of the shots that she takes sometimes, but it is what it is. The bench, she didn't really get anything. Makarov gave you 8 points on 3 of 5 shooting, 2 4 for 3, no free throw. She had no rebound in this one, no assist, no turnover, 1 steal, and no block. Okay. Continuing on, we go to Kentucky. Okay, wanted to talk about Clara Strack first. I've said this before. I do like her game for the record, but she played 40 minutes, had 14 points, 5 for 9 shooting, 1 of 3 from the 3, 3 of 4 free throw. She had 15 rebound. Okay, we love it. She had 7 assists in this one, 6 turnovers. She did have no steal and 1 block, okay? Overall takeaways on Clara Strack, she was able to do some good stuff for you, okay? She can score in a variety of ways. She hit a 3 for you as well, so I really like the amount of ways that she's able to score. She's a stretch big, and that's what you need going into the W now, so I really like how she plays the game, and she's really mobile, and, I really enjoy watching her play that way, okay? The 15 rebounds I liked. I think she can give you some good stuff on defense, and I feel like, didn't she get in foul trouble or something like that in this game, or just pick up a lot of dumb fouls? So having to be better with playing defense without fouling, but she can do it all is the point. The 6 turnovers, that's just unacceptable. It really is. And part of that was the defense, but multiple times where she coughed up the basketball unforced. And that's part of the reasons why they lose this game, to be honest. So, yeah, I didn't like that. There was when she turned it right over to Michaela Blakes, and that was just a terrible pass. Okay, so that was really backbreaking for me. But that's kind of my takeaways on Clara Strack in this game. Did some stuff that I like, and then did some stuff that frustrated me. Okay, and then we'll continue on to Amelia Hassett. So she played 37 minutes, had 19 points, 7 for 12 shooting, 5 of 10 from the 3, no free throw, 5 rebound, 4 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, and no block. Okay. And so, yeah, she did some good stuff in this one. 19 points, efficient. Yeah, she was getting it done. She was getting it done. And then Tiana Key, 37 minutes played, 27 points. Yeah, she was, yeah. Okay, and then she had 11 for 15 shooting, no threes, 5 of 8 free throws, 12 rebound, 1 assist, 5 turnovers. I cannot praise that. 1 steal and 1 block. I believe this is only her second or third game back. She got some injury, but she was doing her thing in this one. She was doing her thing in this one. They couldn't stop her. Really efficient. So I like it outside of the turnover. I can't praise the turnover. So there's that. And then we go on to Jordan Obi, 17 minutes played. She had 3 points, 1 for 4 shooting, 0-1 for a 3, 1 or 2 free throws. She had 1 rebound and no assist, no turnover, no steal, and no block. So and then we go on to the point guard, I believe, Toni Morgan. So she played 37 minutes in this one, had 8 points, 3 for 9 shooting, 0-1 for a 3, 2 or 2 free throw, 1 rebound, 10 assists. Love it, love it. And she had 4 turnovers, 1 steal, and no block. Overall, did not shoot the ball well, coughed it up a little bit too much for my liking, but finding ways to be impactful when you have 10 assists in this game, okay? So good facilitation, and I feel like she had a few good moments on defense. Off the bench, Carol, 4 minutes played, and Ulili only had 1 rebound, okay? And then Asia Boone had some good stuff. 28 minutes played, she had 12 points, 4 of 6 shooting, 4 or 5 from the 3, no free throw, 3 rebound, 1 assist, 4 turnovers, which I don't like, and she had no steal and no block, but overall did some good stuff for you off the bench, okay? And then we'll look at scoring by quarter. The first quarter, 19-16, second quarter, 15-22, third quarter, 20-20, and then the fourth quarter, 30-25. Ultimately, Vanderbilt wins this one in a close one, 84-83, okay? And then leaders for the points, Michaela Blakes with 37, Passat with 5 rebounds, and Galvin with 7 assists to 1 turnover. And then for Kentucky, Key with 27 points, Strack with 15 rebound, and Morgan with 10 assists, okay? Continuing on from the field, Vanderbilt was 30 of 6-7 from this game, which is going to be 45%, 11 of 28 from the 3-point line, okay, which is going to be 39%. And then they had 13 to 15 free throws, 87%, 21 total rebounds in this one. So they got out-rebounded by a lot. 6 offensive and 15 defensive. They had 16 assists, 10 steals, no blocks, 6 total turnovers, okay? So did a really good job taking care of the basketball, which is part of the reason why they went. And 6 fast breaker transition points, 26 points in the paint, 16 foul, no tech, largely was 10, and percent level was 59. And then for Kentucky, 31 to 55 from the field, 56%, and 10 to 20 from the three-point line, 50%, and so 11 to 16 from the free throw line, 69%, 39 total rebound, 8 offensive, 31 defensive, 23 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, 20 total turnover, 5 points off of turnovers, 1 fast break or transition point, which again, I don't know how that happens, 36 points in the paint, 16 foul, no tech, largely was 9, and percent led was going to be 40%, okay? And so there is that. My overall takeaways in this game, it was a pretty close one, obviously. You know, in the beginning, I felt like Vanderbilt didn't take advantage of the fact that they didn't turn over the ball. There was a point, I believe, they had no turnovers, and they forced Kentucky into 10, and they just weren't able to score off of that and, you know, missing out on those opportunities. And Kentucky actually got it together. They had a lead going into the half. Okay, I believe they hit a huge 3 to kind of, like, shift the momentum and everything. And I swear, Michaela Blakes missed a 3 after where the crowd was cheering too. Like, they were looking good, and I believe they had a stat of, like, 17-1 or 18-1 whenever they're leading or tied going into the half, something like that. So it looked like they had the momentum. Like I said, the defense on Michaela Blakes in the second half was non-existent, okay? They couldn't make enough shots, and they missed critical free throws at the end of this game. Multiple times they had the opportunity to put it away, and you missed the free throw. Unacceptable. You have to make the free throw. It's an uncontested shot, and so that's something there. And like I said, there's multiple calls of the officiating that I didn't like, you know, so that's something that I didn't like. And so, yeah, I just feel like Kentucky had opportunities to put this game away, and they didn't, okay? I think Vanderbilt wins because they took care of the basketball more. They got more points off of turnovers as well, okay? And then also in this game, I feel like they just had contributions from people other than Michaela Blakes. I think that that's the thing with if they're going to win the game or not. When you had contributions from Sasha Washington in this one, even Galvin gave you 16 points. Okay, so I think that those were the 3 leading the way for Vanderbilt as well, okay? And they had more points in transition, and so just some of the critical stats, they were ultimately able to come through. And when, you know, they only missed 2 free throws, okay? They also made an extra 3 with 11 threes. And so, yeah, I think that the defense on both sides was terrible, okay? Because, you know, one team had 11 threes, the other team had 10, okay? Multiple times were giving up easy shots, getting lazy on defense, and you're not hedging the screen, you're going under the screen, and just like typical things on defense, that does not please me, okay? And so I think both of the teams, you know, defensively, I mean, where was the defense in this game? That's how I felt the whole game. Offensively, it was just who was going to score more. It was one of those kind of games, and so Kentucky did not take advantage of the opportunities that they had, which is ultimately why I think that they lose, okay? A couple weeks ago, I was thinking maybe Kentucky could go to the Final Four. You know, they were looking good. You know, they won a bunch of games. And then, you know, they've been on a losing streak, and I haven't seen some of those games, but, like, I heard about it and everything. And so, I don't know. We'll see what happens with Kentucky down the stretch. But, yeah, like I said, Vanderbilt, they're, like, 3 pieces away, something like that. You got to get Michaela Blake some more help and everything. But, you know, they did enough in this game to win. So, that's my overall takeaways, okay? Now I get into my bonus game review that I do every single week. So this week I decided to do Michigan versus Michigan State. This is one I wanted to watch throughout the week. I didn't get to it, so I figured why not do it for today. Ultimately, Michigan wins this one 94-91 for you, okay? And so, you know, we just take a look at some of the stats in this one. So let's start off with Michigan. Silas Sword, she played 44 minutes, 15 points, 5 of 14 shooting, 3 of 10 from the 3, 2 of 3 from the free throw line. She had 1 rebound, 1 assist, 7 turnovers. I did not know she had 7 turnovers until I read it. That's unacceptable. You cannot turn over the ball 7 times. Good God. She had 2 steals and no blocks, so it was not her finest hour. She had multiple open looks that she couldn't cash in on, and part of that with the shooting is because of the defense, but 5 of 14 objectively is not good. And the 7 turnovers, I mean, that's just backbreaking right there. Now we talk about Olivia Olsen, though. She had a really good game. So she played 36 minutes, 23 points, 8 for 16 shooting, 4 of 7 from the 3, 3 of 5 free throw, 6 rebound, 3 assists, 4 turnovers. I don't like that. 3 steals and no blocks. Overall, I thought she did some good stuff on both ends for you, okay? When you're hitting 4 threes in this game and finding other ways to finish, okay, and helping your team in that way. I thought she was big in that overtime stretch that they had in this one, because this one did go to overtime. So she was hitting some threes and some really crucial shots in this one, okay? And I don't even think she's a good 3-point shooter. I believe that's what they said on the broadcast. But, you know, she was lining it up, and I thought that she got some good stuff on defense as well, some good stops. She had some dumb fouls, and she fouled out in the overtime period, I believe, which is not great. Luckily, they win, but you can't do those things. So I thought she had a good game. Sofa Kanik, 22 minutes played. She had 10 points, 5 for 6 shooting, no threes, 0-1 from the free throw line. She had 8 rebounds, no assists, 1 turnover, no steal, and 1 block. She was getting it done in the post. Okay? Gotta give her credit in this one. So shout out to Sofa Kanik for this game. And then Holloway, 38 minutes played, she had 26 points, 11 for 16 shooting, 2 of 5 from the 3, 2 of 2 free throws. She had 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 turnover, 1 steal, and no block, okay? And so, like I said before, Paige got me spoiled with the turnover. When I see 3, that's too many, so that's 1. But overall, I thought she played well. She liked to drive a lot in this game, and just being able to score, getting some opportunities in transition with that, and hitting some threes. She hit some big shots for them, okay? So I thought that she had a really good game, and the facilitation was good when you have 5 assists in this one too, having a good moment or 2 on defense. So, I thought she made some big strides in this game for them specifically. Brooke Rolls-Daniels, 36 minutes played. She had 4 points, 1 of 2 shooting, 0 threes attempted in this game, and then she had 2 of 4 free throws, 4 rebound, 6 assists in this one, okay, and then she had 1 turnover, 1 steal, and 1 block, okay, so she gave you some really good stuff on defense. She plays hard, so I gotta give her credit for that, because I've seen her make some good defensive plays in the games. The bench, Del Fossey, 21 minutes played, 9 points, 3 of 4 shooting, no threes, 3 of 6 from the free throw line. Everyone was missing free throws for Michigan, which I'll talk about. And then, so she had 2 rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover, no steal, and 1 block. So she had a couple good things for you. Okay, I think she committed some dumb fouls in this game, if I'm remembering correctly. And then Dudley, 23 minutes played, 7 points, 3 of 4 shooting, no threes, 1 of 4 free throws. She had 7 rebound, 1 assist, 3 turnover, 3 steal, and no block. So she had some good stuff. Macy Brown, 5 minutes played, and you got 1 rebound and 1 steal. So that was that for her, okay? But so let's talk about Blair first, okay? She played 41 minutes, 21 points, and she had 7 of 15 shooting, no threes, 7 of 10 from the free throw line, 10 rebound, 4 assists, 7 turnovers. I did not realize she had 7 turnovers. I cannot praise that. 3 steal and no block, okay? I thought she did a lot of good stuff shooting the basketball. She had some big shots for them in this game. They could not stop her. And now the light flickering, okay? But I thought she was good in this one. For sure. Okay, so definitely want to give her credit. And then Jaylen Brown was also really good in this one. 37 minutes played, 21 points, 9 of 12 shooting. Okay, she had 2 of 3 threes, 1 of 1 free throw. She had no rebound in this one, 2 assists, 2 steal, no block, and no steal. Okay, yeah, she was really good in this one too. Okay, another one that couldn't really seem to stop her. Super efficient. Okay. Jones, 37 minutes played, 13 points. She had 3 of 7 shooting, 1 of 2 from the 3, 6-7 with the free throws, okay? She had 2 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 turnover, 3 steal, and no block, okay? So didn't she take a charge in this game, I believe? So that was good. I'd be forgetting specific plays, but there were some really nice plays in this game. Who hit the Euro in this game? Someone hit a really clean Euro. I forget who that was. That might have been Olsen. And then so we go on to number 10, 33 minutes played, 15 points, 6 for 10 shooting, no threes, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. She had 8 rebounds. She had 2 assists, 5 turnovers. Good God, 2 steal and no block. Okay, so had some good stuff in this one. Van Sloten, 38 minutes, 12 points, 5 of 14, Lord, and no threes, 2 of 5 shooting, 6 rebound, 4 assists, and no turnover, 1 steal and 1 block. So 5 of 14. Finding out the ways to contribute, but yeah. And then we go on to the bench, okay? So you literally got nothing out of the bench with Woodard and number 9, which is 0 points. And then Emma had 9 points. So, that's the bench production for this game, okay? Now we go into scoring by quarter, okay? First quarter, 25-22. Second quarter, 16-20. Third quarter, 23-23. Fourth quarter, 17-16. The overtime period was 13-10. Ultimately, Michigan wins this one 94-91, okay? And so we look at leaders for points, rebounds, and assists. For Michigan, Holloway leading the way with 26 points. Silva Volcanic with 8 rebounds. And Quarles-Daniel with 6 assists to 1 turnover. Blair for MSU with 21 points. She also led in rebounds with 10. And Jones with 6 assists in this game. Now I get into some more advanced stats for this game. So Michigan from the field, 36 of 63. Okay, that's going to be 57%. 9 of 22 from the 3, which is going to be 41%. They were 13 of 25 from the free throw line. You missed 12. I don't like that, okay? And so they had 52% from the free throw line, 36 total rebound, 10 offensive, 26 defensive, 17 assists, 11 steal, 3 block, 20 total turnover, 21 points off of turnovers, 26 fast break or transition points, which is really good. 48 points in the paint, 26 foul, no tech, largely was 8, and percent led was 69%. And then for MSU, 33 of 65 from the field, which is going to be 51%. 6 of 13 from the three-point line, which is going to be 46%. 19 of 27 from the free throw line, which is going to be 70%. And they had 32 total rebounds, 11 offensive, 21 defensive, 19 assists, 13 steal, 2 block, 18 total turnovers, okay? And so they had 16 points off of turnovers, 18 fast breaker transition points, 50 points in the paint for this one, 22 fouls, and so no techs in this game committed. Largely was 4, and then percent led was going to be 17%, okay? Overall takeaways in this game, this was entertaining, more so the back half and everything. I think that a lot of games are kind of better in the second half because there's less time, so the teams have more urgency, and so every possession matters that much more, and so you kind of saw saw that in this game and everything. And I will say, I mean, where was the defense by both teams? Because it was 94-91 in this game, okay? So giving up a lot of shots, giving up a lot of the shots. And sometimes good offense beats good defense. But Lord, multiple times where you're just not doing textbook things that you need to be doing on defense, getting beat on defense, coming late with the help, and all that other stuff that I talk about with defense. And so I think that that's something that stands out to me. I like Michigan's defense, but you gave up 91 points in this one. Like, that's terrible defensive performance, okay? So they got to lock in. You know, Michigan likes to do that zone and, like, you know, different looks with that and their man and all that other stuff. But I think that was something I was thinking throughout this entire game. It was just really bucket for bucket at a certain rate, and it was really close, okay? And so another thing that stands out to me, Michigan, when you miss 12 free throws, like I just talked about, I mean, that's unacceptable, okay? I think that's one of the reasons why this game even went to overtime. So you have to capitalize with your opportunities at the free throw line, because that's 52%, you know? And so also the turnovers, I mean, Michigan had 21 turnovers, and then Michigan State had 18 turnovers. Who they feeling like? Caitlin Clark? Like, you cannot turn over the ball that many times. So I think there's something there. They both got points in transition. They both had some great stuff in the paint. Michigan committed more fouls in this one, so having to be better about that as well. And so, yeah, this is one of those games where it was just about who's going to be able to score more, because that defense wasn't showing up for nobody, okay? So I think Michigan got to lock in on the defensive end, okay? I think it was entertaining, like I said. And so that's my overall takeaways in this one. Really quickly, I did not write this down in my notes for this week, but I wanted to talk about all the awards, okay, for women's college basketball. So to those who do not know, there's going to be awards for the position and everything. So for the point guard award, the Nancy Lieberman award, I gave it to Rory Harmon, okay? I think that she's a really great point guard. I like how she can facilitate and her court vision, especially in transition, as well, getting the ball to her playmakers at the right time. And I like her defense too. And so I like Rory Harmon a lot, so I voted for her for that award. And honorable mention to City of Norman. Y'all know I am a City of Norman enjoyer. I don't know. My heart told me Rory, so that's what I voted with. And then for the Shooting Guard Award and Myers Drysdale, I did give that to AZ Flood, okay? Y'all know I love AZ Flood. You know, we seeded. And so I just think she's the epitome of a great shooting guard, okay? And she really adds a lot of value to the shooting guard position and stuff, and just her ability to score in a variety of ways, her lockdown defense, how consistent she's been, and she shows up in the big matchups every single time, okay? Like AZ Flood, just, like, what a player. So I had to vote for AZ Flood, of course. Like, y'all knew where that vote was going, okay? And then for the small forward award, okay, I gave that one to Madison Booker. Madison Booker, the last game wasn't pleased, but, you know, she's putting up production, 18, 19 points a game and everything. And for the most part, she has consistent performances. So I had to vote for Madison Booker in that one for sure. And then for the power forward award, it went to Sarah Strong for me. Sarah Strong can really do it all as a sophomore. What she's doing, absolutely insane. You have to appreciate the greatness of Sarah Strong. So that was really not even anything I had to think about. For the center award, I decided to give it to Claire Strack, okay? I like Claire Strack's game. You know, I had my problems and everything with the turnovers and everything in that last game and so on. But like I said, I stretch big the amount of ways that she's able to score. I like her defense too. So for me, that was something that went to Claire Strack, okay? And so what is it called? I definitely could see people voting for Lauren Betts with that one. Like I told you, I become fond of Lauren Betts personally, to be all honest. But, you know, in the moment, I felt like voting for Claire Strack. So that's who I voted for those awards. Let's talk about Unrivaled next. So we had Breeze taking on the Rose. Breeze ultimately ends up getting the dub pretty dominantly, 81-56, okay? And I love the photos that they used for it and everything. But yeah, this was an entertaining one, you know? And so looking at the box score, Paige lit it up, okay? So she played 20 minutes in this game, 32 points, 8 so bad, okay? 14 of 22 shooting, 2 of 4 from the three-point line, 2 of 3 free throw, 2 rebound, and she had 11 assists, okay? No turnovers, by the way, okay? But yeah, and 2 steal, no block, and like I said, no turnovers. But Paige was fabulous, okay? And so just the way that she's able to get to her spots with ease and just the way that she's able to finish through contact. She was doing it all, bro. She could Kalia Copper in this game, okay? She was doing her big one. It's just, I run out of words to describe how excellent Paige is. There's no limit to the glaze, okay? I got my Paige stuff right here, okay? And I have some right here if y'all watching, you know, on YouTube and everything. But yeah, like Paige did her bit. Like, so many great shots in this game. So many great shots in this one. And just always doing what she needed to do. I mean, 11 assists to no turnovers, very pleasing. 2 steals in this one too. I will say in this one, she didn't get enough calls. Shakira Austin literally fouled her multiple times in a row and they didn't call nothing multiple times. There was this 3 that she hit and it looks like she didn't get space to close out on that 3, so that should have been a foul. So yeah, I didn't agree with those things, but Paige balling out. Paige is just an excellent player. What else is there to say? Okay, so Paige always doing a big one. We go into Rakia, 22.1 minutes played. She had 20 points, 9 of 16 shooting, 0-4 from the 3, 1 of 2 free throws. She had 9 rebounds, 1 assist, no steal, no block, and no turnover, okay? So this was definitely one of her better games offensively. I believe it was the game before this where I was frustrated because I felt she was taking bad shots. And she still did take some bad shots at some times in this one, but overall, way more efficient in this one, okay? The defense is still not moving me, okay? Like, it just gets to a rate with her, and so I wasn't pleased by that. I wasn't pleased by that. I like the 9 rebounds, but it's just the same things that I always say about Ricky at this rate, okay? We go on to Dominique Malunga. So 15 minutes, she had 18 points, 8 of 14 shooting, 0-1 from the 3, 1-1 free throw, 11 rebound, and she had 1 assist, 1 steal, no block, and no turnover. Bro, Shakira Austin was cooking her in this game. She was cooking her in this game, okay? And her defense is so bad. It's so bad at the street, okay? And so, yeah, I think she probably had some bad shots in this one. Or, at the very least, some shots that she should easily make, you know, that she missed. Like, some layups and such like that. For the most part, I thought she did some good stuff in this game. But, yeah. Haley Jones played in this one, okay? 9.2 minutes. She had 4 points, 2 of 5 shooting, no threes, no free throws, 3 rebound, and 3 assists, no steals, 1 block, and no turnover. I thought she did some good stuff in this one for sure. Some moments in this one that were backbreaking for me. I think it was Paige assist that she got, and then she missed the reverse. And some moments like that with questionable stuff. But overall, I think that she can play her role well. You know, her and Paige 2-man game was something that was good in Dallas, and I believe they played together previously for USA Basketball. So she did some good stuff for us in this game. I felt Kate Martin, 6.3 minutes played, 7 points, 2 of 2 shooting, 1-1 from the 3, 1-1 free throw. She had 4 rebound, no assist, no steal, 1 block, and no turnover. So she did some good stuff for you in this game, okay? Same things I always say about Kate Martin. No, Cambry did not play in this one, okay? So I feel like that's really important to note and everything. And so I'm going to say some more thoughts on Cam at the end because I got something for y'all. And Aaron McDonald did not play in this one, okay? Now we go on to the rows, okay? Shakira Austin, 19.2 minutes played, 21 points, 9 for 17 shooting, 0-1 from the 3, 2 of 5 free throw, 7 rebounds. She had 2 assists, no steal, 1 block, and 3 turnover. She had some good stuff in this game. I'll give it to her. Times where she was able to finish at the basket. You got Dom 101. Just take the shot at that rate. So she did some good stuff in this game, for sure. Like I said, I felt like there were some fouls that she got away with, but that's just my opinion. Then we go on to Kalia Copper, 18.1 minutes played. She had 15 points, 5 of 13 shooting, 1 of 4 for the 3, 2 of 2 free throws. She had 6 rebound, 1 assist, no steal, no block, and no turnover, okay? So just not her best night shooting the ball, you know? And Kalia Copper is just one of those players where you never count her out, So it just wasn't her best game, you know? So I'll put it that way. Now we go into Chelsea Gray. Okay, so she played 20 minutes in this one, 11 points, 5 for 17 shooting. She literally shot my grandma's birthday, y'all. And so 1 of 4 for the 3, no free throws, 7 rebound, and she had 6 assists in this one, no steal, 1 block, and no turnover, okay? So, yeah, I think it just wasn't her best shooting night. She had multiple looks that were open in this game and stuff that she usually makes that she couldn't seem to catch them on, and we might have got a defensive stop or two, but she just couldn't make the shots, you know, when she had them open. So that's kind of my takeaways there. I do like Chelsea as a player, just wasn't her night. And then Lexi Hall, 8.1 minutes played, no points, 0-2 from the field, 0-1 from the 3, no free throw. She had 2 rebound, and she had no assist, no steal, no block, and 2 turnover. I don't know where she was in this game. Like, when she was playing, her impact wasn't felt. Let's put it that way. Like I said, Lexi Hall's supposed to be 3 and D, and the 3's not going in, and the defense is not moving me. The Fever fans be overrated her, because when I watch the games, I'm really not that moved, okay? And then we go on to Shook Sutton, 7.2 minutes played. She had 9 points, 4 for 7 shooting, 1 of 3 from the 3, no free throw, 1 rebound, and she had no assist, no steal, no block, and no turnover, okay? So there was a moment where she's kind of cooking us for a little bit, and I didn't like that, but luckily we ultimately end up getting the dub for the game, okay? So that's the most important thing. That is the most important thing. So then we continue on with the advanced stats. Unrivaled has now finally added scoring by quarter, which I do appreciate. Thank you. Okay, so the first quarter was 18-12, second quarter 23-19, third quarter 28-19, and then the fourth quarter was 12-6. And like I said, Breeze gets the dub, 81-56, and Dom hit the game-winning late, which was a Paige assist. Thank you. Okay, I love me a good guard double-double. How did I almost forget to say that? But Paige double-double is very dear to me, actually. Okay, there's like somewhere behind me on the wall. I don't know if y'all are going to be able to see that, but it's like a double-double thing from whenever she got the double-double. So, you know, that's very dear to me. I almost forgot to mention how much I love a good guard double-double. I had to emphasize that. And then we continue on to the team stats. So Breeze, 35 of 59 from the field, 59.3%. 3 3-pointers made, 30%. You had 5 of 7 from the free throw line, 71.4%. 32 total rebounds in this one, which is good. 2 offensive. Only 2 offensive rebounds the whole game? That's terrible. 30 defensive rebounds, 16 assists, 3 steal, 2 block, 1 turnover, and 13 foul. And then for the Rose, 23 of 56 from the field, 41.1%. 3 3-pointers in this game, 25%. 4 7 from the free throw line, 57.1%. 30 rebounds total, 6 offensive, and 24 4 defensive, 9 assists, no steal, 2 block, 6 turnover, okay, and 11 fouls, okay. So overall takeaways, Paige did what she needed to do, okay? That double, it healed me. It healed my heart, okay? So I want to put up a photo on the screen that I found from one of the games that I thought was cool. So there was that. This uniform match I didn't really care for because they did the pink ones and then they did the green uniforms, I believe, for Rose. So that's just a little side note. And so I think the reason why ultimately that Breeze gets the dub for this one is we just outscored. We just had more to give offensively, right? And I think that it was one of those games where our defense was terrible, as it always is, not getting the stops, not getting there fast enough to contest, and just being more aggressive on defense for the full game and having that energy. You know, so much of defense is just, you know, putting that energy in, you know, and having that. And so I thought that the defense was terrible, nothing new, but, you know, they just didn't shoot the ball well. And I don't really think that was because of us. Like I said, might have got a stop or two, but we just happened to outscore them in this game. And like I said, no Cam. You kind of see her impact in this one because Shakira barring Dom in the paint, and I think that that would have been a matchup that Cam would have handled decently. So there was that. And I think that those are some takeaways there. Also, we only had 1 turnover in a game as a team. So being able to take care of the basketball is really huge in this one. Really huge in this one. We had 3 steals, 2 blocks. So yeah, like when you really look at it, we did some good stuff. I mean, 59% from the field, and they were 41. I mean, that's why we win the game. That's why we win the game. But it's just always entertaining to see Paige go off. Okay, so that's my overall takeaways on that game. So I had fun with that one. And then I have some photos saved of Paige modeling the GT cut 4s. Okay, so those are going to be coming out for Nike. Okay, so we love that and her deal with Nike. And then I had this save too. I think this was after this game, but Paige being at number 1 for the assist leaderboard with 62. Hashtag my point guard, okay? Everyone who tried to say Paige is not a point guard, we're not buying it. Chelsea Gray's at number 2 with 61 assists, and Kelsey Plum's at number 3 with 49 assists. This is outdated and everything. And then we go on to Breeze versus Hive. Yeah, this one was a tough one to watch, okay? And so ultimately, Breeze loses this one. Hive gets a dub, 70-68. So taking a look at the stats of this game, Paige went off again, okay? She gave you 21.9 minutes played, 28 points, okay? 13 of 23 shooting, 0-4 from the 3, 2 of 2 free throw, 7 rebound, and she had 5 assists in this one, 1 steal, no block, and 3 turnover, okay? Paige doing it all, okay? There was this one play where she drew the and one on Sanaya, and that was so savvy of her. That was so savvy of her. And that one when she blew by Sonia, that was a really good play too. But like I said, just her ability to get to her spots, to not be rushed, to score in a variety of ways. That mid-range is going to be money every single time. The ability to finish at the rim as well. So yeah, just really enjoyed what Paige was doing in this game yet again offensively. And again, I'm tired of people saying that Paige is the reason why we lose games. This whole passive Paige narrative, again, I'm really tired of it, because that one game when they won against the Phantom, Paige had 23 people trying to say she wasn't aggressive enough, despite the fact that number 1, they weren't setting screens to help get her open, and 2, every single shot that she made was difficult because of that. So I think that that was really irritating. And in this game, she took 23 shots. So all the people who saying Paige is not aggressive enough, now what? Because she had 23 shots in this one, okay? She made 13 of them. She was efficient in this game, like she pretty much always is. So I think that that's just a really lazy narrative, and I'm tired of people repackaging it and finding a way to blame Paige. Y'all want Paige to do everything. She scores, she assists, she gives her all on defense as well, okay? And she's just doing everything that she can. She's just doing everything that she can. She even had 7 rebounds in this game as well, and I really don't know what else more people want from Paige. And it's just weird because it's Paige's own fans that are saying this. It's Paige's own fans that are saying this. 23 shots in a game, and y'all basically trying to tell me Paige was not aggressive enough? I don't understand that. I don't understand it. Like, people always find a way to repackage it and blame Paige instead of everybody else for not doing enough to help her, okay? And we saw what happened at Dallas, the 44 piece, and they still lost, and people turned that into, oh, well, she didn't take the shot at the end of the game. It was a contested look, okay? She made the right play. She made the right play, and then whenever she had 35 and they still lost, her teammates aren't helping her. So I'm so tired of that. Every single, like, y'all say really dumb stuff, and I'm really tired of that, because this was not Paige's fault. This was not Paige's fault. Did everything that she could. They had no screens for her in that 4th quarter. What do you want the woman to do? Did everything that she could, like she always does. So I went on a tangent, and I said this before, but the takes that people were getting off on Twitter, I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I can't praise that. Then we go on to Rakia, 16.2 minutes played. She had 15 points, 5 of 13 shooting, 3 of 6 from the 3, 1-on-1 free throw, 11 rebound in this game, which is great, 4 assists, no steal, no block, and 2 turnover, okay? I thought Rakia had some nice stuff in this game, some nice shots that she was able to hit. She hit some clutch buckets in the 4th quarter, which I was really appreciative of. Like I said, it's just taking hard shots for no reason sometimes, and sometimes we just got to go for easier stuff. So I think that that's where some of my frustration lies in with the shot selection. I think that's something that she still has to hone in on. I do like the rebounds from her, I do. 4 assists I do like as well. The defense is still bad. Like, her defense in this game, I was just like, good God. Multiple times she got beat on defense. It just gets to a rate, okay? Dom, 14.6 minutes played. She had 8 points, okay? 4-10 shooting and 0-1 from the 3, 0-1 free throw. She had 7 total rebound and she had 1 assist, 1 steal, no block, and no turnover, okay? So 4 of 10, it just wasn't her finest hour, okay? She was taking a lot of mid-ranges in this game, and sometimes you have to take what the defense gives you, and I have talked about this before, but multiple times where it's like, you have to get in the paint. You have to get in the paint, okay? And she wasn't doing that, okay? And then the defense was putrid. She got a couple stops, but I was not moved by the defensive effort in this one, okay? And there was that one, who was it? I think it was Kelsey Mitchell, bro. She literally was like 6 feet apart guarding her. It was literally either her, Ricky, or whatever, and she still made a shot. And there was one where one of them was contesting, and it was literally insane. Kelsey Mitchell literally lost the handle and then was still able to score off of that. Like, it just gets to a point with that one, okay? And then we go on to Cam Brink, okay? 11 minutes played. She had 6 points, 3 for 6 shooting, 0-2 from the 3, 0-2 free throw. She had 5 rebounds total in this game, 2 assists, no steal, 1 block, and no turnover, okay? I thought Cam gave you some good stuff in this one. The free throws that she missed, those were backbreaking. Okay? Because she had one, it was like right at the end of the game, so that was frustrating. Overall, I thought that she gave you some good defense and everything. I don't know why Noelle's not playing her in the fourth quarters and everything. I think if she would have played her earlier, the result might have been different because whenever she got checked in, she got like 1 to 2 stops back to back on defense, and I believe she hit a shot at the end of the game too. So she was doing some good stuff there. Offensively, she can hit some shots for you, and then the defense too, she will set the screen for Paige. She's the only one setting screens at this rate. And so, yeah. And now I'm going to get to my point about Cam before I forget it, okay, because I forgot it last time. People are just not giving enough grace to Cam and everything. People forget that she tore her ACL in her first season in the WNBA. So you have to recover from that and rehab and everything, and then it took time for her to get back and everything. And then even when she got back, there's a minutes restriction, and then I felt in the rotation she was kind of getting shafted and like she should have got more minutes. And people were talking about her production, this and that in the season. Her production is only going to get so high when she only plays a certain amount of minutes. And then you think about the people she's playing with Rakia and Kelsey Plum and everything, people are going to take a lot of shots. So that's number one. And 2, why are we acting like she hasn't been really positive and Unrivaled? In the beginning, she kind of got off to a rough start, but she really found a groove with being able to score, setting the screens for Paige. The 2-man game with her and Rakia, I think, is really good, and she provides a lot of defense value with us, okay? Her and Paige are the best defenders on the team, and she's doing a lot of good stuff. Sometimes she picks up dumb fouls that she shouldn't, and yes, we should make the free throws, and I have my qualms. But Cam is putting on effort, and I'm sorry. If we're going to pick Paige teammates to throw under the bus, Cam is not the one. I'm sorry. It's like, y'all don't watch these games. Cam is the teammate we're blaming. Like I said, I have my qualms, I have my moments where I get frustrated, but Cam has been a net positive, okay? The recent games, for the most part, she stayed out of foul trouble. She's made a lot of good plays for the team overall, so, like, Cam is really the hill y'all are willing to die on, okay? And other people are letting go unscathed for bad defense and everything. Cam tries. Cam puts a lot on defense, and Cam's doing some good stuff. So I don't like that this is the other takes that we're getting off. I think it's very disingenuous. Obviously, everyone's ACL recovery, it's not going to be the same. Everyone's not going to look the same. Everything's going to be different. Everyone's game is going to be different. And so I just think that the takes that people have been getting off about Cam have been really disingenuous, you know? And so I don't like it. I think put some respect on Cam's name. I would have thought that Rose game would have put some respect because you saw how bad the defense was. And luckily, you know, they couldn't throw a rock into the ocean or whatever the phrase is. And that's why we won the game, because our defense was putrid. But some of y'all have to put respect on Cam's name. Another long tangent, but I almost forgot it, but y'all play too much on her. I don't like it, okay? And then we go into Kay Martin. So she had 13 minutes played, 11 points, 5 for 8 shooting, 1 of 3 from the 3, no free throw, 1 rebound, and she had no assist, no steal, no block, and no turnover. I will give her something for the scoring, okay? Every time she shoots the ball, I just assume it's not going in, okay? She's one of those players for me, and so I will say that, but she made some good shots in this game. Would have liked to see her contribute more in other areas when she had no assist, no steals, no blocks, okay? That's what I can say there. Y'all know how I feel about Kate, okay? And then we go on to the Hive for this one. So Monique Billings, she played at 19.4 minutes. She had 15 points, 6 for 12 shooting, 0-1 from the 3, 2 of 3 free throws, 17 rebounds. 17 rebounds. Yes. You need to get the rebounds, and she did that. And she had 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 block, and 3 turnover. Like I said, I feel like Monique Billings has been extremely positive and Unrivaled every single time I watched her play for the most part. She's had a good game. She's contributed on both ends of the floor, and she's just able to score straight up and make the plays when they are needed to be. And when you have 17 rebounds, that was huge, okay? She had Dom in hell this game. She had her number. She figured it out, okay? And just preventing her from scoring and everything, able to score on her multiple times. Yeah, she had her number in this game, okay? And so there's that. And then we go on to Sonia. So 18.8 minutes played, 17 points, 8 for 16 shooting, 1 of 5 from the 3. She had no free throws, 4 rebound total, and 4 assists. She had no steals, 1 block, and 1 turnover. I thought that Sonia was very positive in this game, of course. You know, I thought, and I think it was the back half, what really killed us was she kept going for those drive layups and nobody could stop her. So I don't really know what Noelle's whole thing with the defensive assignments in these games. I think that she should give Paige harder defensive assignments because I don't really understand Paige's defensive assignments in these games and everything. But yeah, like all those drive layups in the third quarter was absolutely killing us. So I have to give her big one for that. The 3 that she scored, like she just made a lot of good plays. And I mentioned she likes to facilitate on the side when she had 4 assists in this one as well. She likes to do some stuff on defense too. So just made a lot of big plays down the stretch. I thought in this game, extremely impactful. So I definitely want to give Sonia her flowers for this. Okay. And so, yeah. We go on to Kelsey Mitchell, 22.1 minutes played, and then 22 points. She had 10 of 19 shooting, 2 of 5 from the 3, 2 free throws. She had 6 rebound and 1 assist, 1 steal, no block, and no turnover in this game. I thought Kelsey Mitchell was Kelsey Mitchell, okay? No surprises here, no surprises here. It's just Kelsey Mitchell is one of those players where she can get a bucket anytime that she wants. You understand that. Kelsey Mitchell is one of those players that's harder to guard. She's really fast, she's really shifty, and she's just going to get it done. She's going to score the basketball. That's what Kelsey Mitchell is going to do. So going into this matchup, I don't understand why Noelle's emphasis was not to double team Kelsey Mitchell. That's what I would have done. If I was coaching this game, you double team Kelsey Mitchell the whole time. You cannot let her get a clean look off. So many times you left her wide open for the threes. We're late to contest a 3. You give her an inch of space, she's going to make you pay every single time. And that's what she did to us in this game. She made us pay multiple times. I talked about that 1 3 that she hit in this game, and multiple times it was just dagger after dagger after dagger. And I just don't know why Noelle has these things with the defensive assignments, but I ain't like it. And shout out to Kelsey Mitchell for putting some respect on Paige. She basically said this is one of the first times I'm getting to play with someone or against somebody who can score at like an elite level or something like that. She basically said finally some real competition. Okay, so putting some respect on Paige. So thank you, Kelsey Mitchell. Thank you, Kelsey Mitchell. One of the only players, probably the only player from Indiana Fever that I actually do like. Okay, so I will always give Kelsey Mitchell her 10s in general, but especially for that. But she cooked us. She cooked us straight up, and we couldn't do nothing about it, you know. So I didn't like that. You know, so I was not pleased by that. You cannot be late. She's going to make you pay. And then Anastasia Hive, she played 6.3 minutes, had 8 points, 3 of 6 shooting, 2 of 3 from the 3, no free throw. She had 1 rebound, and she had no assist, no steal, no block, and no turnover, okay? So I thought that she did some good stuff. You know, she hit 2 threes. She hasn't been great in the rival, but she did what she needed to do in this game. Sanaya, it was a rough game for her. 10 minutes played. She had 8 points, 3 of 11 shooting, 0-3 from the 3, 1-1 free throw, and she had 4 total rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, no block, and no turnover. Did what she could do. It just wasn't her best. You know, the scoring, it's going to come for her. She'll figure it out eventually. There's some games where it's there more than others. She prides herself more on her defense. Wasn't her best, but, you know, it is what it is. Now we'll look at the scoring by quarter, okay? So first quarter, 19-21. Second quarter, 12-22. Third quarter, 27-16. We got outscored by 11 in that third quarter. Good God. And then the fourth quarter is going to be 12-9. Ultimately, Hive wins this one, like I said, 70-68, okay? And so if you look at some of the advanced stats from the field, we were 30 of 60, so 50%. So we shot really well from the field. We had 4 threes made in this game, but that's only 25%. And so 3 of 6 from the free throw line. Those missed free throws, we really needed those, okay? And that's going to be 50%. 34 total rebounds in this one. So you had 6 offensive rebounds and 28 defensive rebounds, 12 assists, 2 steal, 1 block, 5 turnovers committed in this game, and 14 fouls. So we fouled more, okay? And then for the Hive, 30 of 64, which is going to be 46.9%. You had 5 threes in this game, 29.4%, 3 of 6 from the free throw line, 50%, 35 total rebounds, 8 offensive, and 27 defensive, okay? So they out-rebounded us in general, and then the offensive rebounds, you know, 10 assists. He had 4 steal, 3 block, 5 turnover, and 13 foul committed. Okay, and so there is that. And so my overall takeaways on this game, why did we lose this one? We had a 15-point lead and we choked. We blew that. That is unacceptable. That's the thing that made me so mad. How do you blow a 15-point lead? Okay, like watching these games is really like watching the Dallas Swings all over again. I feel like 15-point lead and you blow a 15. Like I really like. I was really speechless for that. Like I said, I'm tired of y'all blaming Paige and everything. Y'all want her to do everything at this rate. Like, y'all want her to play the 4 now? Y'all want her to play the 4 now? Like, everybody else got to take more accountability, like I already said. So, like, are we not watching the same games? I don't know how we get to this rate. Noelle can't coach. Her rotations are irritating me. I think Cam should have played more in the fourth quarter. I think that We have to rebound more for sure. So many times I was watching this game and I went live for it. I posted it on here and I'm just like, why are we not getting the rebounds? That was unacceptable to me. Bad defense yet again. When we're getting behind on defense, the help is late. We're not getting there fast enough to contest the threes, the hedging of the screens, like all the things that you need to do on defense. This is just such a bad defensive team. And I say it every single review, but it just really jumps out and they have to play better with that overall and the defense and all this stuff. And so with the officiating in this game, I don't think it was my favorite. I believe Paige had a tech in this game and that was BS to me, okay? I believe she felt she should have got a foul, so she said something to the ref. They gave out techs like candy. That was a really soft tech in my opinion. And I think that there were some moments with the officiating that I didn't like. I'd be forgetting specific calls and everything. I'm sure that I said it on my live. I don't think that that is what decided this game. I think we had multiple opportunities to put this game away, to get it together, and we didn't get it done, for a variety of reasons. It's always the same reasons that leads to this. And I'm just tired of it. Like, bro, this team was 2-7 before we went and played them, and then we lose. So to me, a 15-point lead blown, like, I can't have that. I can't have that, okay? So I was not pleased by that, and that game was incredibly frustrating to watch. A game that goes down to the last possession, and we cannot execute. It's literally like Dallas Swings Part 2. Like I said, it's like Dallas Swings Part 2. Not being able to execute in the clutch, bad defense, especially in the transition moments as well, taking bad shots. I mean, Lord, like, it gets to a point. It gets to a point, y'all. And I saw this one post, and it was like, I don't know about y'all, basically, but I've been taking these Unrivaled games to heart. I've been taking them seriously. Exactly. I know this is supposed to be a fun league, a developmental league, or whatever, but yeah, I've been taking this to heart. I can't even lie to y'all. I did want to shout out some stats that Paige had. So I'll put up the stats for the last game, as I already talked about, but she currently leads the league in 28-point games with 8, and she gets her 7th straight 20-point game. And then this was her last 6 games, so they put this in the broadcast, but 27.8 points, 59% from the field as a guard. Paige is shooting 59% from the field. With the kind of shots that she's taking, her threes are really good this year too, and she's 52% from 3, 5.3 rebounds, and 6.7 assists. We got a 6-7, and 20 points in every game. So yeah. We'll see what happens going forward. I don't know. I just don't have any faith in Noelle's feel for the game. I already knew that this was going to be a Paige carry job. I feel like I said that at some rate and everything, and so just tired. I feel like I did watch some other Unrivaled games recently and everything. I'm trying to go to the schedule right now so I can at the very least kind of see where I watch the games and when, because I be forgetting some of the games that I watch. Like, I always keep up with Paige's game, of course, like you guys know that and stuff, but sometimes I do take a gander at the other games and stuff. And so I believe, what is it called, on the same day the Hive did play, and I'm pretty sure that I checked that one out because Paige actually was giving you some like commentary and stuff, and she basically confirmed that she will be participating in the 1v1 tournament, which were things that we need. It might have been like a Hive game or something. It might have been the Vinyl and the Hive. It might have been that one if I really think about it. So I'm trying to like look out overall at the stats. Yeah, Ray Burrell gave you some good stuff off the bench. Hamby, I'm just trying to recount my memory. Monique Billings, 23 points. Sonia with 32 points, and you still lose. Yeah, that was crazy. So just not being able to put it together at the end. I think they had some bad stuff. Sonia had that one offensive foul at the end. I remember that they overturned. So that was crazy to me. And then she made a 3 off of that, and then they still couldn't win the game. Ryan ultimately ended up winning it. So now it's all coming back to me. No Celine Dion. So I did watch that game. Like, it's just all coming to me now. Like, now that I'm looking at the stats and everything. So I caught that game. So those are a couple of our thoughts. And I did a full review, so I forget some of my thoughts, but y'all can check out my review for my thoughts on that. I'm pretty sure that I did watch the Miss versus the Laces. And I'm just trying to look at the box score to ultimately refresh my thoughts on it. And so, yeah, Stewie, 6 of 14. Not our best shooting night. It's knocking on the door 50%. So I can be forgiving about that. Alicia Gray, terrible, 2 of 11. Enrique Shot Chucker, 5 of 14. Lan, he never played Lan at the end at the games that I watched and everything. And yeah, I didn't like the officiating in this one either. I think I remember like just some calls and everything that they didn't make that I didn't like. But yeah, Laces just had more on both ends of the floor. I think that they shot the basketball better, if I remember. So those are some of my takeaways there. And everything. Okay, so I decided to add this in at the last minute, but I want to give some quick thoughts on the Unrivaled reveals for the 1v1 tournament. Okay, I think by the next time I record my podcast, like, it'll already have happened. So I wanted to give some quick thoughts. So I'm just gonna say who I think would win. I'm gonna speed run it and everything. I think that Paige is going to take the whole thing. I do want to say that. But in Pod A, we have Kelsey Mitchell versus Rachel Banham. Kelsey Mitchell, easy. She's a bucket. And then Courtney Williams versus Veronica Burton. I'll take Courtney Williams. I wouldn't be surprised if Veronica Burton gets it. And then Skylar Diggins versus Jordan Canada. I'm taking Skylar. We have Kelsey Plum versus Anastasia Heidemann. I'm taking Kelsey Plum. So that's Pod A. And then in Pod B, we have Paige versus Kate. That's a setup. I'm taking Paige easy. And then Enrique versus Brittany Sykes. I'll give it to Enrique. We'll see what happens. I want to see Paige Paige and Enrique 1v1. That would be really entertaining. It's reminding me of Enrique and Satu 1v1. But yeah, I kind of need that. So I'm going to give it to Enrique. We'll see what happens. I think she's a shot chucker. But yeah. Jackie Young, Tip Hayes, Jackie Young, easy. And then Chelsea Gray, Natasha Cloud. I'm taking Chelsea Gray for that one. And then for Pod C, Alicia Gray and Sanaya Rivers. I would take Alicia Gray out of that one. And then we have Kalia Copper and Rakia Jackson. I'm taking Kalia, okay? Rakia mentioned whenever she switched to the 3 that Kalia gave her a hard time. So yeah, I'm taking that. Marina and Sonia, I would take Marina for that one probably, okay? They both from Notre Dame. They both shot chuckers, but Marina's more experienced. Ryan and Ray, it really depends on the day. I'll give it to Ryan for now. And then we have Stewie versus Lee. I'm going to give it to Stewie for that one, obviously. Aaliyah Boston versus AT. Like someone said, this is really a WWE match. But I would probably give it to Aaliyah Boston. I think she has more varieties in the ways that she can score, but it's going to be very physical. And then you have Dearica Hamby versus Yakir Austin. I like Hamby in that one for sure. And then we have Aaliyah Edwards versus Dominique Malunga. I would take Aaliyah Edwards, okay? Now if I try to think about like who will go on to the next round. So that would be Kelsey Mitchell versus Courtney Williams. I would take Kelsey Mitchell in that one. I would assume she would go to the quarterfinals for that. And then Skylar and Jordan, like I said, I take Skylar, and then she would go against Kelsey Plum for that one. So I'd probably take Kelsey Plum. So it'd be Kelsey Mitchell versus Kelsey Plum in the quarterfinals. That could really go either way. I would favor, Kelsey Mitchell in that lineup, and everything. And then we have Paige and Enrique. I'm taking Paige for that. Paige moves on to the quarterfinals in my bracket. And then Jackie and Chelsea would go head-to-head. I think Jackie got a little bit more, so then that would be Paige versus Jackie in that one. I had Paige with that. So then the winners coming out of the quarterfinals for me would be Kelsey Mitchell and Paige. And then I would have Alicia Gray, Kalia Copper. That's a really hard one, actually. That's a really hard one. That one can go either way. But for me right now, I think I'm probably going to give it to Kalia Copper. I don't know, part of me wants to give it to Kalia Copper, so I'm going to give it to her for that one, okay? And then she would have to face off against probably Marina, that's what I would guess, and I would pick Kalia in that scenario, so she would move on to the semifinals for me. And then we would have Stewie versus AB or AT. I still like Stewie in that matchup offensively and defensively. She's healthy, so I'm taking Stewie. And then Hamby versus Aaliyah Edwards. So I would take Hamby in that one, a little bit more experience. So that means that I believe, if I think about this correctly and everything, so I would have Kelsey Mitchell, Kelsey Plum battle it out, okay? So then I'm taking Kelsey Mitchell in that matchup, and then Paige is winning in the quarterfinals, in my opinion, out of that one. So let's say Paige versus Kelsey Mitchell in the quarterfinals. I would take Paige for that one. That could be a really close one. And then ultimately getting to the quarterfinals out of this bracket, I believe that I had Kalia Copper and also Marina Mabry. I'm taking Kalia Copper in that one. Like, that's just what I'm feeling right now. So then Kalia would ultimately end up facing Stewie. I like Stewie in that matchup. So for me, I think it would be a Paige and Stewie finals and everything. So yeah, we'll see how everything works out. This is really just top of the dome. And I thought about doing this because, like I said, I believe by the time my next podcast I'm getting ready to do that, the 1v1 tournament will be over. Okay, so really important that I get in my picks now and everything. But I think Paige is winning the whole thing. So some upsets can definitely happen. Some of these are really hard matchups. I'm just going with what I feel in the moment. But I got Paige at the top always. Let me know what you guys think below. But that's some of my takeaways on that. And so I do want to say this, but I am going to be posting more on my other TikTok account for this podcast. Actually, it's called Anastasia Scouting Report. Because TikTok basically said that I'm impersonating somebody. I appealed it, I won, and yet they're still not putting me on for you. And I appealed it again. I'm still waiting to hear from that. So it's a whole song and dance. It's really frustrating because I work really hard on my videos and stuff. But I decided, what can I do about it besides make another account? And so I've done that. So I'm going to post some other videos in there, try to grow that account, see what happens with it. Hopefully I win my appeal. I'm not going to completely give up on it, but just finding ways to get creative. I might go live on that one. So I have all the info on the screen, so y'all can subscribe to that as well. But just trying to get crafty, trying to figure out what to do with that as well and everything. So I think that that's a big point that I wanted to say. But we had a lot of good hoops. I had some games that I was looking forward to. And I think that the Texas and LSU one, like that really stood out to me. An AZ 27 ball, of course. Okay, so that's going to be it for episode 5 of Anastasia Scouting Report. Thank y'all for joining me, whether y'all listening on Spotify, Apple Music, or whether y'all watching YouTube. I appreciate it all. And I'm glad that you guys seem to really be enjoying this. I really enjoy doing it. And it's just a great thing because, like I said before, I get to kind of explain some stuff that I might have forgot to talk about in my videos or my podcast. So I just really enjoy the space and the creativity, and I really enjoy making videos and everything for you guys. So this has been a really fun venture for me, and I really look forward to putting it together every week. The editing is hell, but I really enjoy doing this. And so if you guys did enjoy this, you guys can give it a like down below on YouTube. If you're watching it here, it helps me out a lot. Lets me know that you guys enjoy it and you guys want to see more of this and my basketball stuff. And you guys can also hype this down below. it helps in some fashion promoting my video, so I would appreciate that. Also, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think of my opinions on these games. What are your opinions on these games? Are there any games that you guys watched that I didn't necessarily get to, and things that you want to share? And just leave your 2 cents in any way in the comments. I would appreciate that as well. And you guys can also subscribe to this channel to see my podcast every single week. Also, all my reviews on TikTok get uploaded here. Everything on my other TikTok account that I'll be using more in conjunction with the account that I do have, I will be uploading here as well. So you kind of get everything, you know, even my lives that I do, I will upload that. I just went live for the UConn game, so I'm going to have to edit that tonight and try to get that out for you guys so y'all can check that out too. And so, yeah, those are some things that we got. Okay, and you can hit the bell to get notified every single time that I post, so you not miss when a brand new video comes out. Down below in the description, I'm going to have all my social medias. So I have Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, all this stuff. I forgot to mention I made a Threads account. Okay, so follow me on Threads. I'll link everything down below if you guys want to follow me on all my other platforms. I got a lot of stuff, but y'all can check me out on there as well. And if you're listening to this podcast on like Spotify, Apple Music, if y'all would rate it, I would appreciate that. Let me know how I'm doing. Leave me a detailed review. And, you know, I read everything, all the comments and all that stuff. So yeah, thank y'all so much for being here, for supporting this podcast. And I'll see you in the next one.